What is going on, everybody? Welcome to our NFL Draft Watch Party, Round 1. Today, we're breaking down the top reactions, the top analysis, everything you want here at the Painted Lines. Guys, if you're watching us live, be sure to comment, subscribe, like this video, all the above. What's going on, Shane?
Oh, man, it's months of work all coming to a head tonight, and it's going to be over in like 2 days. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm ready to go. This is going to be a crazy draft, man. There's so much. I mean, last year we knew who was going number 1 overall. We knew who was going number 2 overall before it started, and we thought Mac Jones might be going number 3. But like this draft it's going to be crazy. It's just going to be so unpredictable.
Yeah, 100%. Like even the first overall pick is kind of seemingly up in the air as we stand. But you look at the wide receiver position, you look at other positions like tackle. Could it be Evan Neal? Could it be Ike Ekwonu? So many of these top positions are all over the place. It's going to be a really fun draft. Where does Malik Willis, where does Kenny Pickett fall? Do they go top 15? Do they fall? Who trades up? Who trades back? The Eagles have a huge night. You know that. Man, but what's your gut feeling right now, like for the Philadelphia Eagles? Like, if you had to say the Eagles are going to do this, this, and this, what's your best guess?
I don't think they're picking at 15 and 18. I think it's possible they will pick at neither 15 or 18. They seem like trade up and then trade back candidates to me a little bit.
Yeah,
but we'll see. The rumor that I've heard that would make me upset if it happens is that they're going to try to trade up to get Jameson Williams, which I love. Jameson Williams, he's wide receiver 2 on my board, but I just feel like it's one of the deeper positions. I don't want to see them make a trade up for a receiver. Yeah,
you're trading up for Thibodeau, you're trading up for Sauce, you're trading up for Hamilton, even Stingley. Let's put Stingley on that list for me. But I would not trade up for Williams. Like you said, This wide receiver class is very good, very deep. Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Drake London, list goes on and on. Into that second round, Christian Watson, George Pickens, it goes on. So, guys, we're waiting here for pick number 1. We've got Ryan O'Toole in the house. Have a good stream, fellas. Cody and I are excited to see how it goes. Don't take too many of our players. Ryan and Cody are Patriots fans. They know that we have a defensive back as a need here as Eagles fans. So they're already crapping their pants. We have Coyle in the house saying, let's go. And Mrs. Crockpot saying, let's do this. Yeah, I think they trade up for Hamilton. I think that's going to happen. I think they're going to trade up for Hamilton. And I think they're going to trade back and they're going to get George Pickens in the end of the first round. Hamilton and Pickens would be an absolute A+ home run draft in round 1. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. If they get Kyle Hamilton, I've called him the best defensive prospect I've ever evaluated. Every year I fall in love with a safety, and the Eagles never take the guy. I mean, I posted a bunch of them on Twitter. They asked what your favorite or what your draft tradition was, and I said it was making chicken wings and then being disappointed when the Eagles don't draft a safety. But I mean, I've had it for Javon Holland. I've had it for Justin Reed. I've had it for who was the Panthers guy? Jeremy Chin ended up being Rookie of the Year. Like so many of these safeties over the years that I've just fallen in love with. Kyle Hamilton is it. He's the guy. It's insane that he's falling. If the Eagles are able to trade up and get him, I'll be honest, I don't care what it costs. I'm going to be thrilled about it.
Yeah. By the way, we are watching currently the Sixers-Raptors Game 6. So we will be definitely chiming in on that eventually. The Sixers are playing pretty well. Sixers are down 56-59. We have Rufus in the house saying, what's going on, boys? This is the most scared I've been for a draft in a long time. I'm not scared. I'm way more scared for the Sixers game right now. I'm comfy cozy with the Eagles right now. I think they're going to have a good first round. I'm eerily confident. Is there something wrong with me, Shane?
No, I'm gonna say something I might regret later. So you can clip this, I guess. Timestamp this. We might come back to it. But there's only 2 things the Eagles can do that will make me upset tonight. One is drafting an offensive lineman. 2 is trading up for a wide receiver. Anything else, I'm good, I think.
3, draft a quarterback. Sorry, Shane. No, I'm out on it, Shane. No, address the defense. Get some play. Oh, Danny Green with a huge corner 3 here. Sixers take the lead. All right, loving that. Sorry, Shane. This is going to be happening. I can't not do that. All right, but anyway.
I've got a mute button right here for you.
All right, so we're waiting for the Jacksonville Jaguars to get on the clock. We're not there yet, but I agree. Tyler Linderbaum, Kenyon Green, Zion Johnson, all those guys are great prospects. That can't happen for the Eagles in round 1. Absolutely cannot happen. Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, Desmond Ridder, Carson Strong, Matt Corral, no. I am all out on those guys here, especially day 1, day 2. I can't wait, man. This is bittersweet. This is a bittersweet feeling for me. We've been on the grind since December, just putting out tons of content, and it's all going to accumulate to tonight and tomorrow night and Saturday. And then it's kind of like it's kind of sad. It's a little sad that, it's over, but then we move on to the NBA draft.
You mentioned quarterbacks. Let's talk about quarterbacks for a second. So a quarterback has gone number 1 in the draft a lot of times over the last few years. And 6 straight years, there have been 3 or more quarterbacks go in the first round. Do you think there's going to be 3 quarterbacks go tonight to keep that streak alive?
No, I don't think so. But if there are 3 quarterbacks, it'll be Willis, it'll be Pickett, and I think Desmond Ridder. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. I think there's definitely going to be 2. I think Willis and Ridder definitely go tonight. I think Pickett is the swing. If Pickett goes tonight, I think you see 3 quarterbacks. But I mean, yeah, it's 4 years in a row a quarterback has been the number 1 pick. 2017, Myles Garrett was number 1. 15 and 16 were quarterbacks. So you go back to 2015.
What's up, guys?
6 out of the last 7 drafts, a quarterback has gone number 1 overall, and the one time it didn't, it was Myles Garrett. So,
all right, we've got Chris Malley in the house, man. How are you feeling right now? What's your gut feeling?
Dude, honestly, I feel really good. I think that a lot of stuff is about to go down. There's a ton of talking right now. I just got word that supposedly a team is going to move up for Malik Willis. I don't think that he's going to be going super high, but I think that Malik Willis going 6 to Pittsburgh is looking more and more likely. Supposedly the Eagles were trying to get up there too, but they weren't willing to jump Pittsburgh because the only way they could jump Pittsburgh is 5 with New York, and New York's not going to trade us that pick. But from what I've heard, the Eagles have been trying like crazy to have deals in place for the 6th pick, the 8th pick, the 9th pick, and the 10th pick. Right now, I think that they're moving up to 8, and they have their eyes on Stingley from everything I've heard. But
interesting.
That's fine with me, dude. Derek Stingley at 8 would be solid.
I was on Dives before you came on. The only 2 things Howie can do tonight that will make taking an offensive lineman or trading up for a receiver, because I heard trading up for Williams, and I would hate that. But push it up for a corner, I'm good.
Yeah, that's just what I've been hearing lately, that they really like Derek Stingley, and regardless, he might not even be there, but they're trying to move up to 8, and it's going to be for someone that they really covet and value. That's what I've been hearing. I've been at work most of the day. I just got home, and I literally had 100 notifications, and dude, obviously you never know. Things happen really fast. It's an emotional game. People change their minds, but as of now, and you've seen it reported every single hour that the Eagles are trying to move up into the top 10 again, and I don't want. Hopefully, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but supposedly Jalen Reagor might be a part of the deal to move up, and it might be with the Falcons because they really need a wide receiver, and it might make sense for them to get a guy with really nothing to lose, and they have nothing to lose. So that would be interesting if let's say it's not 15, but they throw in 18 Reagor and 83 as a supposed deal, and you get from 15 to 8. Dude, that's pretty money. I just don't see how Hurts, who's still developing, and Reagor are going to put it together right now. I think that you put him in an offense with Atlanta, maybe he gets a shot with less pressure, and Kyle Pitts taking off a lot of like attention, but we'll see, dude. I mean, supposedly, like we've been hearing that Jalen Reagor's had interest from teams, and it would make sense that the Eagles have Dillon and Reagor on the block as a part of like moves to make. But in general, though, I'm hearing that they really like Jameson Williams, they really like Thibodeau, they really like Stingley, they really like Kyle Hamilton, and 8 sounds like the number that they're moving to. As of now, I haven't heard any bad names. I've only heard good names that they're interested in, and it would make sense if they do make the move up from like 18 or 15, and then whatever pick they have left in the first, they maybe move back, recoup some value, because the second round is so loaded, so maybe they want to get some more picks there, or they move back with Kansas City. Kansas City wants to move up for one of the receivers, and then they move back with Kansas City and like, what, they have 29 and 30, right?
Yeah.
What are you guys thinking, though?
All right, literally right before you came on, my gut feeling was we're trading up for Hamilton, then we're going to trade back for George Pickens. That's my vibe right now. But we got Mark. Yeah, now we got Mark in the house. What's going on? Fresh off the radio. What's going on, Mark?
Yeah, I'm on the I'm on the road, not driving. I'm in the passenger seat, so I can follow the Sixers a little bit and follow the draft. Let me just say, being on the radio during a Game 6 of a Sixers playoff game and leading up to the NFL draft, just about as torturous as it gets. So I'm definitely happy to be here. I'll be back home in 25 minutes in my normal area with both of my screens in front of me, but I'm going to be following the NFL draft based on what you guys are saying, at least for the first couple picks here. Thankfully, it's Sixers halftime. But I had Shane on my show today to talk over some Eagles draft stuff, some NFL draft stuff in general. So yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm pumped up. We've been putting in the work here.
All right, so I don't know how much longer we have you, Chris, but like, what do the Eagles do here? What's your like prediction for round 1?
So right now, I think they absolutely are moving up. I don't think that there's a doubt in my mind that they move up. The only thing that could throw a curveball in everything is if Houston takes Stingley at 3, which I don't think is very likely. Right now, from everything I heard, the first pick is going to be Trayvon Walker. Vegas pretty much mirrors it. He's at like minus 330 to go number 1 right now. And Cam Robinson getting that extension really kind of like put the icing on the cake there. So I think number 1 is going to be Trayvon Walker. 2 is Aiden Hutchinson. 3 is going to be Ikem Ananwu from NC State. 4 is going to be Sauce Gardner. 5, I just heard, is going to be Cross from Mississippi State.
Wow.
And then 6 is going to be Pittsburgh moving up from Malik Willis. 7 is going to be – that's the Giants again, right?
Yeah.
Supposedly, it's either going to be Tibbs or Jermaine Johnson, I think, unless they move back, but we'll see. And then – after that, Eagles are moving up to 8, and they're going to have their pick of one of their main guys, and supposedly it's Derek Stingley. But we'll see. I really do think the Eagles move up, though. Like, everything kind of is, like, leading up to that. But I think that's exactly how the top 8 looks. And then Seattle, that's going to be interesting to see what Seattle does. But, guys, I actually have to hop off. I just want to make sure I stopped in and said what's up. Do you have any more questions before I hop off?
Oh, man. Where can we find you, man? What do you got going on?
Dude, I just got home from work. I was going to go down to the Eagles party, but, like, this is, like, the one year where, like, at 4th and John, we're not doing a stream until tomorrow because everyone's down there. Where they went from the Phillies to the Lynx, that they're doing the doubleheader. I'm someone who just, like, I like my solitude, especially for the first round. Like, I like having, like, my notes and stuff in front of me and just enjoying it. And that I just got off working all day, so I'm going right in front of the TV, opening up my pizza and my wings and just hanging out. But I just want to make sure I stopped in and said what's up with you guys. But go Birds, man. Hopefully they come out with 2 picks that we like. I like it. Hopefully they come out with 2 picks that we like. But I'm telling you, it sounds like they're moving up, but anything can happen. If some people fly off the board earlier, people jump them, maybe they change their mind. But as of now, it sounds like that's what the top 8 looks like.
Love it, man. I love it. So looks like the Eagles could be moving up. We could be making some moves, go up, maybe trade back. It's going to be a fun night, man. Chris, thank you so much for hopping on, man.
Yeah, absolutely. See you guys.
Chris, you've got an open door if you want to hop back on after the Eagles picks and talk about them for a few minutes.
If I can, I will. I'll definitely see what's up. I'll see you guys. Have a good one.
See ya.
All right, so the Jacksonville Jaguars are officially on the clock right now. So The Jaguars picking at first for the second year in a row, picking in the top 10 for the 14th time in 15 years. That's just an incredible track record of ineptitude. But I have their top needs as an edge, an offensive tackle, interior defensive line, and safety. Obviously, they've got a good amount of draft capital, picking first in every round. And they've got 4 6th-round picks, 2 7th-round picks. It was amazing putting these graphics together. How many of these teams just have like a crap load of 6th or 7th-round picks. But the Jags on the clock, they've got about 8 minutes left, which, by the way, if you're in the comments, once a pick's official, you can let us know. I'm not actually watching the draft. I'm just on here, so talking about it. But it's fully expected that this is going to be Trayvon Walker, the edge out of Georgia. So we'll see if that turns out to be true here in a few minutes.
Let's go to some comments quick. Squidward Tentacle says Sixers with a 1-point lead. We're gonna be on edge all night. Quentin says, let's freaking go. Love it. Ethan says, what's up, guys? Rufus says we need to build the defense in this draft. The only guy I don't want is Jordan Davis. And we've got Queen Manda from my other podcast saying, just to hear to tell Dives that I hope the Raptors win tonight. She lives in Toronto, to be fair. So, Mark, what's your gut feeling right now? What are the Eagles going to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think it seems pretty clear that they're going to try to move up. It seems like they're going to move up, whether that be – I think that there are a couple teams that you could definitely see wanting to move down. It seems like this is a draft full of teams that want to move down, maybe not necessarily teams that want to move up. So that does help us if we're a team that wants to move up, because there are so many options. It could be Carolina at 6. The rumor is they want Pickett, but they don't want to do it at 6. It could be Atlanta at 8, like Chris was mentioning there. It could be Seattle at 9. They love trading back. That's something that their GM, who's been there a long time, has done a lot. The Jets at number 10, they already have multiple picks. They already have so many picks. They could be trading for Debo, whether or not, or trading back. They could be doing anything. Then Houston, they could be trading up. They could be trading back from 13. There's so many spots right there in that 6 to 13 range where you could see a team maybe wanting to move back, where Philly could maybe slide in there. And since there's not all these dozens of teams trying to trade up for a quarterback or whatever it is, maybe we'll even get it with maybe not giving up as much as the draft chart says it should.
Mark, I got to ask, what's your thoughts on Trey Walker, number 1 pick?
I think it's a joke. I think Trent Baalke is a joke of a general manager. The fact that they let him continue this rebuild and go and give Christian Kirk $1 gajillion and go and sign all these free agents to some of the worst NFL free agent deals I've seen in a long time. And then you're going to go and pick a defensive end who, Shane said it on my show, he's not even a defensive end yet, really. Like, his best traits were the stuff he did inside and the stuff he did dropping back in coverage. Like, I don't think you're drafting a guy at number 1 on the D-line to drop back in coverage. So I think Trayvon Walker going number 1 overall over guys like Kayvon Thibodeau, Kyle Hamilton, Sauce Gardner, even Aiden Hutchinson, a guy who I'm not in love with. I have him as my number 4 overall player, but at least he's safe. Like, at least with Hutchinson, I think you're getting a very productive pro and a guy who's going to bring a very high motor. Like, does Aiden Hutchinson have that Kayvon Thibodeau upside? No, not for me. But he's such a sure thing, in which Trayvon Walker, I don't think we've ever seen a less sure thing in a very long time go at number 1 in the draft, especially on the defensive side.
I remember it was back when the Eagles found out their draft position. I did a mock draft. And at 15, I had the Eagles selecting Trey Walker. And I got so much hate from fans in the comment section. Like, Trey Walker at 15? Are you crazy? Here we are, 4 months later, sitting at a potential number 1 pick. Jacksonville Jaguars, the pick is in. We're waiting for the announcement.
It drives me crazy that they take 5 minutes. Like, you already know the pick. You've known it for a while. Just make it. You don't got to run 5 minutes off the clock.
It's infuriating.
If you guys are watching here live on the show, whether it be on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, drop us comments throughout the night. We love to interact with you guys. We can throw those up on the screen. If you are watching on Twitter, if you want to migrate to YouTube or Twitch, those seem to integrate the comments a little better. Sometimes Twitch comments don't pop up, but drop us some comments. We'll be interacting with you guys. We'll be here. We'll be live all night Excited to hang out with you guys. We're going to break down all of these picks. So the pick is in. We are just waiting on it to be announced here. But every expectation is that it will be Trayvon Walker out of Georgia.
Get out of here, man. That is insane. That is insane. And I'm one of probably the highest on Trey Walker of us three here, without a doubt. No way, man. No way. Absolutely no way.
So on our big board, we've got Trayvon Walker is the consensus. Let me sort by consensus. He is consensus number. He's a number 12 player on our consensus big board, basically. Well, he's really number 8, but 11.9 is his average rating. I've got him at 16. Dibes has him at 6. Mark has him at 18. So definitely not a guy. And poor Doug Peterson. He deserves better. Doug Peterson goes from one dysfunctional front office to another. It's kind of unbelievable, especially if you believe the deal that Trent Baalke wanted Trayvon Walker and Doug Peterson wanted Ike Ekwonu. And Doug Peterson's getting overruled by a GM with a terrible track record. So,
all right, Shane, I'm going to interrupt you. Trayvon Walker is officially the number 1 pick in the 2022 NFL draft. Let's learn a little bit about Trey Walken. The caveat here is I made this back in January. Check this out. My favorite prospects in this year's class. This guy fits the Eagles scheme to a T with his elite versatility and ability to play inside or out. While he doesn't have that elite twitch that David Ajabo or Jermaine Johnson possess, he makes up for it for being strong against the run with very good quickness and ability to make big plays down the field. As good as he is at getting to the quarterback, he's got great quickness to win against slower offensive linemen in the interior. What I like most about Trayvon Walker is his ability to drop back and hold his own in space. Trayvon Walker occasionally dropped back into coverage for Georgia, and his fluid hips and ability to change speeds on a whim was really impressive to watch. A 6'5", 275-pound edge rusher that can be weaponized in multiple alignments with his kind of football intelligence will always have a roster spot in the NFL. Defensive coordinators must be salivating with this guy's ability to make an impact in a variety of ways. Let's watch the tape.
Well, they got him 3rd and 14. No protection again. Sack off the edge. Trayvon Walker. More thanks, Alec. They somehow spotted that as a first down. No idea how. McNamara escaped pressure, but not for long. He is hammered from behind by Trayvon Walker.
All right, so Trayvon Walker. Go ahead, guys. Quick reaction. Trayvon Walker, number 1 pick.
F.
I mean, I just want to reiterate that the Jaguars just spent the number 1 pick on a pass rusher who has 9.5 sacks in 3 years. It's an absolute. I mean, that if we're grading picks, that's an F. That's a terrible pick.
Yeah,
It's beyond terrible.
Go ahead, Mark. Yeah.
It's a joke. He's my number 5 edge in the class. It's not even really particularly close to being in the top 4. I like the 4 guys I have at edge in Thibodeau, Hutchinson, Karlaftis, and Johnson, all a good bit more than Trayvon Walker. And I don't necessarily think Walker even has that much higher of an upside than any of those 4 names either. I don't get it. I really don't understand. I feel bad for Trevor Lawrence. I think they'll be picking this high again next year, maybe. And like someone said in the comments, I think Rufus said it. I can't believe that Doug Peterson, is having to deal with this. So you get the first pick and you take a guy with less than 10 career sacks. It was a complete projection. It's crazy.
All right, we've got the Detroit Lions selection. The pick is in. Shane, you want to go over their team needs?
Oh, yeah. So the Lions, obviously, they need a quarterback. It's unlikely to be a quarterback here at number 2, but they do have pick 32. They also have pick 34 in the second round. So every expectation is this is going to be an edge. The pick is almost locked in as Aiden Hutchinson, but there was some smoke yesterday about Kayvon Thibodeau. So I think it's going to be Hutchinson or Thibodeau. I do think it's going to be Aiden Hutchinson here, though, the defensive end out of Michigan.
Oh my God, there's a breaking news thing for here from Ian Rappaport. A big-time scare before the draft. Georgia's Trayvon Walker was in a serious car accident in Athens, Georgia before the draft, crashing into 2 parked cars. He emerged without injuries somehow. No citations, but a scare for sure. So this guy just went first. He's got 9.5 career sacks. He's smashing into parked cars. What are we doing on the day before you're going to go first overall? Why are you driving anywhere? Why? That's unbelievable that came out and that it didn't have any impact on him going first overall. So that's crazy. This becomes more and more incredible.
All right, Aidan Hutchinson is officially the selection for the Detroit Lions. Here's a little bit on Aiden Hutchinson. 5 grade on this guy. Aiden Hutchinson had some incredible moments this year, most notably against Ohio State, where he was nothing short of remarkable. 15 pressures that game. He had 12 overall sacks and 6 sacks during those last 3 games. That is no joke. As great as he was last year, he beat up college tackles with his elite athleticism. Similar to Thibodeau, the sky is the limit for Aiden Hutchinson, and he's only beginning to scratch the surface of how good he can truly be. The fact that we're sitting here and debating whether or not this guy should be number 1 or 2 over Kayvon Thibodeau is just a massive compliment to his 2021 season. Aiden Hutchinson's motor is off the charts. This is a guy who would be best in a blitz-heavy scheme that lines him up across the line of scrimmage and cause havoc in the backfield. While Thibodeau offers more feel for the game and support against the run, Hutchinson's burst and technique to punish tackles at the point of attack is incredible. This is a pure pass rushing weapon that should become an instant star the second he puts on an NFL jersey. Let's watch some film. How about that take? I did not have Trey Walker number 1 at all there. It was always either Thibodeau or Aiden Hutchinson, and I never bit. It was always, for me, Thibodeau, and now we're sitting here talking with the draft, and it's Trey Walker number 1, Aiden Hutchinson number 2.
Yeah, so one thing about Hutchinson that is concerning a little bit, I think he's a really good player, but you do have to be a little concerned about his arm length. He's 7th percentile in terms of edges in arm length, and that's a big deal for defensive ends. And so here's his mock draftable spider chart. I mean, he's you can see he's a really good athlete. He's got the height, he's got the shuttle time, the 3-cone, all that, but that arm length is so important for keeping those offensive linemen at bay as you're coming around the edge. And that is something that's a little bit concerning about Hutchinson for me. Overall, you know, I'm fine with this pick here. He was number 8 on my big board. He was number 4 for both you and Mark. His average ranking was a 3.0, which put him as the number 2 player on our consensus big board. And so, you know, it's a fine value here. Kayvon Thibodeau was my edge 1, as he was for both of you guys too. So we'll see if, you know, he comes off the board here, maybe. We'll have to see what the Texans end up doing.
Mm-hmm. So, score check. Sixers are up 66-63 with 10 minutes remaining in the third. We got a game here, guys. This is going to be a wild night.
So now the Houston Texans are on the clock, and I couldn't do them justice in one slide, so I just said their needs are everything. Honestly, the Texans, you can view them as an expansion team. They could literally take anything, and it would be fine. I don't think they're going to go quarterback because they had some success with Davis Mills last year and then fired their coach that got him to play well for some stupid reason. But I don't think they'll go quarterback, although they could. I think it's likely that they're going to go for a corner here, or they might go for Kayvon Thibodeau. What are you guys thinking here?
I'll let Mark go first.
It seems like they're looking either corner or O-line. I might be wrong, but I have heard that Houston's a little concerned with Thibodeau and maybe not on the same page as some of the other teams like the Jets or Giants or Eagles that we've heard are fully interested in him. So I think this is going to end up being Aquanu or Sauce or Stingley, if I had to guess on one of those 3 guys, I think. Just real quick on Detroit before we move on. That's like a B+ or an A- right there, or an A. That's up there. I would have probably went with Thibodeau, but if you're Detroit, you really just need to, you know, hit one down the fairway, and you need to bring someone in who you're is going to be a starter, and he could be a Pro Bowler. So, and especially with the Michigan connection there, that's the type of pick that no one in your fan base is going to be upset with you about. I mean, the Detroit Lions fans are mostly Michigan fans, so I think that's going to be a very popular pick. I'm sure it's going to sell a lot of jerseys. So some things do go a little bit deeper than the X's and O's. So I think that the pick makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Matthew says props to Aiden Hutchinson for getting selected by his hometown team. We're waiting for the Houston Texans.
Wow.
How about
pick
Evan?
Is in?
Pick is in. Yeah.
The pick is in, and it's cornerback Derek Stingley Jr.
What?
Out of LSU, Shane's guy. Derek Stingley goes off the board here, number 3, and he was the betting favorite. So Vegas does know something every once in a while on the draft, especially. Derek Stingley was the gambling favorite at number 3 to Houston. I kind of rolled my eyes at it and thinking it would be Ekwonu, but it's an interesting pick there.
All right, here's a little bit about Derek Stingley.
Number 3 cornerback is Derek Stingley. This might be the biggest surprise on my board here, but number 3 is Derek Stingley. This should be not a knock on this guy because I've got top 15 grades on the rest of the guys in this class. But similarly to my top 2, I just can't ignore some of the measurables and real production I saw from my number 1 and number 2. The first thing to know about Derek Stingley is his athleticism. He's an incredibly fluid athlete. He can change directions on a dime and possesses very good ball skills to become a major playmaker in the NFL. This is easily one of the best ball hawks in the draft, although we didn't see a lot of it last year. On the positive side, this is a prospect with one of the highest ceilings in the entire draft class. On the other end, Stingley has missed 13 games over the last 2 seasons after starting every game as a freshman in 2019. Regardless, this is a guy with the potential to completely take out an entire side of the field. If he goes to an NFL program that can polish him up and keep him healthy, then he's going to be a major problem for NFL wide receivers for a very long time. Let's look at the clips.
All right, so Derek Stingley there to the Houston Texans. I like this pick. I think Stingley's terrific. Little shocked he went over Ahmad Sauce Gardner, who is my number 1 cornerback in this class. Guys, what's your reaction to Stingley to the Texans?
I'll let Shane go first. He loves Stingley.
Yeah, so Stingley was the number 6 player on my big board. He was still CB2 behind Sauce Gardner. I just think the tape that he put out in 2019 as an 18-year-old true freshman in the SEC, it was phenomenal. And yeah, he's been banged up. There's been some LSU hasn't been as good. He hasn't been quite as motivated. I think if you can get this guy to even back to what he was as a freshman, he's a slam dunk pick. Now there's concerns about injuries and that injury history, but the Texans feel like they're in a place they can roll the dice on that. I think it makes sense. They hired Lovie Smith. You give him the defensive player he wants to kind of build his defense around. So I like the pick for the Texans here.
Yeah. What about you, Mark?
I think it's a home run swing, is what it is. Derek Stingley's definitely one of the players in this draft that has the highest upside. And when you're the Texans and you have so many needs and you just need blue chip guys, you need superstars. You need guys that you can plug in and say, this guy's going to get to the second contract. This guy is going to perform at the next level and has the opportunity to become one of the best players in the league in this position. And Shane said it best there. I mean, you look at 2019 Stingley tape, people thought he was going number 1. Like, people thought that he was going to be the first corner in a very, very, at least 26 years to go in at the number 1 spot. So Derek Stingley is definitely a guy who I can understand why a team like Houston would be looking into. Now, I would have rather go with a Kyle Hamilton, a Kayvon Thibodeau, a Sauce Gardner. But besides those 3 guys, there's really no one on the board that I think makes more sense for Houston than Stingley. So I'll probably give us a B- or a C+ just because of how much I like Sauce and how much I like Hamilton and Thibodeau. But Stingley is a home run swing, and I totally get why Houston's making it.
I fully agree. We have the New York Jets on the clock right now. The pick is not yet in, but Shane, what do the Jets need?
So the Jets' big needs are going to be at edge, corner, and offensive tackle. And so they pick here at 4. They pick again at 10. And so I think unless they just have one of these offensive tackles much higher than the other 2, I don't think you're going to see an offensive tackle here because one of them likely makes it to 10. I think, this is a spot for Kayvon Thibodeau if they like him, or it's a spot for Sauce Gardner. So I kind of tend to think the Jets will go one of those directions here.
I'm hoping I'm thinking it's Thibodeau.
I'm thinking it's Thibodeau too. I think it could be Sauce. I would say it's going to be Thibodeau or Sauce. So I think the Jets are going to make a good decision here.
Yeah, so if you look at, they want an offensive tackle with the saga with Micaiah Becton that's going on. So you look at the Giants at 5-7, they're taking an offensive tackle with one of those picks. It's almost guaranteed. The Panthers could go offensive tackle or they could go quarterback. You could see the Seahawks go offensive tackle. So there's a possibility all three of these tackles could come off again before the Jets get back up. But I don't know that it's super likely.
By the way, the Sixers are up 12 here against the Raptors with 8 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Oh, my God.
How about that maxi 35-footer? Oh,
God damn it.
Lord.
Amazing, man. Amazing. Sixers are playing really well right now.
Shane is just like and I'm with him. I'm so mad at the Sixers. I'm so mad at the Sixers for turning the NFL draft show at least into some portion of us freaking out about the Sixers. But if they win, me and Dodds will be celebrating and drinking on the live show, I guess. So
I'm already drinking,
you'll get
man.
a happy version of us.
You got to catch up, man. I'm already on my. Yeah, Jets pick is in. We're waiting for the fourth pick here in the draft. Who can it be?
Call it. Who do you guys think it is? I think it's Thibodeau.
Thibodeau.
I'm going to say Thibodeau too. I think it's going to be Thibodeau.
That's lame.
Quentin says I can't watch the Sixers tonight. I'm too nervous. All right, Quentin.
Oh, there it is. Sauce Gardner, number 4 to the New York.
No.
There he goes. Good for the Jets. That's a great pick.
Man, that's a great selection.
I mean, I'd rather it be Sauce than Thibodeau. It seems like the Eagles are more likely to move up for Thibodeau, and I'd also rather
good with that.
than Sauce. So
I'm good with that.
We need some offensive linemen to come off the board.
Here's a little bit about Ahmad Sauce Gardner.
Gardner's combination of great size and elite production make him my number 1 cornerback in this class. If you're looking for a future lockdown cornerback on the outside, then here is your guy. Production-wise, he has been unbelievable. Since 2019, he has yet to allow a touchdown, he's scored 3 of his own, and he has a passer rating allowed of 35.3. Athletically, Gardner checks off all the boxes with great length, great speed, great short area burst, and fluid hips. This is a guy who should excel in playing either man coverage or zone coverage at the next level. With a little added strength in the NFL, it's scary to think how good this guy can become in a very short amount of time. The only real knock on Ahmad Gardner is that he doesn't possess elite speed. However, Sauce makes up for that with elite football intelligence, anticipation, and instincts on the outside. This is overall, without a doubt, one of my favorite prospects in the entire 2022 NFL draft class.
Coach again.
All right, so there is Sauce Gardner. A little bit about Sauce Gardner. What's your reaction to this selection? This is I think the best graded selection other than Aiden Hutchinson so far.
Yeah, it's a great pick, and it's a
great pick.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mark.
No-brainer. Yeah, it's a no-brainer. They have the pick at 10 too, so they're going to address edge or wide receiver. They really needed all 3. And they have 2 high picks in the second, so there's a chance they could move back in and make 3 first-round picks in this draft. I could definitely see that happening. But Sauce Gardner, there was no other corners on the board like him.
Sauce Gardner's running to the stage right now, running through the conference room. Yeah, man, I love it. Oh, man,
I love Sauce.
I'm so happy for him, man.
He's the natural successor to Darrelle Revis now. In terms of the Jets having a lockdown cornerback, it's going to be Sauce Island.
Sauce Island.
I love it so much.
So that brings the New York Giants up here, and they are going to pick at 5-7. They book in the Carolina Panthers pick. It's almost a certainty that they're going to take an offensive tackle and an edge here. I think it's pretty likely that they're going to take offensive tackle here because the Panthers are also a potential offensive tackle spot. The Panthers are not going to take an edge.
Oh!
You think it's probably pretty likely that whatever edge you want, Kayvon Thibodeau is still going to be there. So unfortunately for Eagles fans, I would kind of expect the Giants to take Thibodeau at 7. Assuming we get there. So I'm looking at offensive tackle here. I really like Evan Neal out of Alabama. He is my top-rated offensive tackle. On the consensus, he is also the top-rated tackle here on the board. So if we just look at the offensive tackles, let me filter it here. This is what we're looking at. Evan Neal is the number one guy for all of us at offensive tackle, and then it gets down to Ikem Ekwonu, Charles Cross. Consensus-wise, Evan Neal is the number 4 player on our board. Ikem Ekwonu is number 5. So, I mean, they can take their pick there. Either one would be a great pick for them. They can kind of anchor both sides of their offensive line with top offensive tackle picks.
Oh, baby. The Sixers, by the way, are in a 23-6 run here in the third quarter. Maxey hits a step back 3 that was absolutely insane, and Harden on a transition gets fouled in transition and heads to the free throw line. The Sixers are up 85-67 right now, man. 85-67. Let's go.
Tyrese Maxey, man. Where would we be without Tyrese Maxey? Oh,
that was one of the best threes, man. That was nuts. I was going crazy. Shane muted me. Thank you, Shane.
Yep. You were distracting me. I was losing my train of thought. All right, so let's game this out here. Let's say the Giants take a tackle and Kayvon Thibodeaux at 5 and 7. The Panthers take a tackle at 6, which we hope. I really want to see these tackles start coming off the board, push some players.
No,
don't say it.
No.
All right, Thibodeaux to the Giants.
Yeah, Thibodeaux to the Giants. That is brutal. We have Chase Young and Kayvon Thibodeaux in the same division for the next decade, and they're the same person. It's terrible. Oh.
Is that pick officially in?
Albert Breer tweeted it.
Wow. Sixers are up 20. That sucks.
That's
What
the
a
best
great
pick so
pick.
far in the draft.
All right,
Yeah. Great value. So he was the number 2 player on all of our boards, number 3 on our consensus big board. Great pick here for the Giants, unfortunately.
5 grade on this dude. I'm not going to overreact here. Despite Aiden Hutchinson's recent play and rise, Kayvon Thibodeaux remains as my number 1 edge rusher in the 2022 class at this time. His production during the 2021 season was so strong. A 91.5 pass rushing grade and 46 pressures. His physical tools are off the charts. With a little coaching on technique, you can pencil in Kayvon Thibodeaux as a future star in the NFL. But for me, what puts Thibodeaux at the top is his versatility. At Oregon, Thibodeaux lined up at linebacker and even in the slot. Whether it's against the run or the pass, the first thing to know about Kayvon Thibodeaux is that he possesses incredible burst off the line. He's got an outstanding motor, an outstanding feel for the game to find the football. His elite lateral mobility and athleticism not only allows him to get into the backfield, but he can go sideline to sideline. Kayvon Thibodeaux, for me, is a terrific prospect and my number 1 edge rusher in this class.
Oh, man. Sixers are rolling right now. The Philadelphia 76ers are rolling. This might be the best quarter of the season. It's happening right now.
I can't even think about the Sixers because I'm too upset about Thibodeaux. That is, my heart is crushed. I wanted Sauce, Thibodeaux, and Hamilton to go anywhere but to the stinking Giants. I'm going to try to find a way to hate him, though.
So the Panthers are going to be up on the clock now at 6. Panthers have an interesting draft. They desperately want to trade back. They have pick 6, and then they don't pick again until the 4th round. They have a huge need at quarterback. Matt Rule likely in his last year if they can't see significant improvement, and he knows he's not going to get that with Sam Darnold. You're not going to get that with Malik Willis either, a guy who's probably going to struggle as a rookie. And so they've been tied to Kenny Pickett, a guy that Matt Rule recruited back when he was a college coach. It's too early for Pickett, though. They also need an offensive tackle. They have started 7 offensive tackles in the last 7 years, or 7 different left tackles in the last 7 years. So you got to believe the Panthers would love to trade back here. I just don't know if they're going to be able to. This might be a spot that you look for a team that wants to come up for a Malik Willis. Maybe you look at a team like the Saints, if the Saints wanted to jump up, although I don't think they necessarily do. Maybe this is a spot where the Steelers would try to go
baby.
up. I would like that fit with the Steelers. I would like, that trade back for the Panthers. But if the Panthers are forced to stay, they got to take an offensive tackle here. You cannot go Kenny Pickett at 6 overall.
Who would the Eagles get at 6? 100% Kyle Hamilton. That's what I would do.
Yeah, if the Eagles were to trade up here, I would say it'd be for Kyle Hamilton, or there was smoke around Jamison Williams as well.
I have a quick, just a rebuttal a little bit to the Kenny Pickett conversation on needing to trade back. I understand, just like I talked about this on my show today on Fox Station, The Gambler. I understand why the value proposition where Kenny Pickett's probably going to go. And I do think that they should absolutely try to trade back if it's possible, even if you only pick up one day 2 pick and move back a couple of spots. There's an argument to make, though, that Carolina has been way too cute with the quarterback position under Matt Rule. You go into Bridgewater, you go and get Darnold. Maybe if Kenny Pickett's their guy, you just ignore the value of it. You ignore getting too cute, and you just go and get your guy to try to save your job if you're Matt Rule. That was just a little bit of a rebuttal, though.
Yeah, I mean, if you think it's the guy, you don't get cute with it. You stick there. I don't think he's the guy. This is a prime example of why, if you got that coach on the hot seat, just get rid of him and move on. Because if this was somebody with job security, they would not take Kenny Pickett here. If you were going to take a quarterback, you would take a guy like Malik Willis, or you would draft with a longer time view. But they need somebody that can come in right now and give them a boost. And that's the danger of having a guy running the ship that knows his job is in danger. We got a comment coming in here from Rufus Rogers. Said, I hope everyone who said Kevon doesn't love the game turns out to be right. I always knew he was a bum. LOL. So Eagles fans were already coping. Kevon Thibodeau doesn't love football. He's going to leave the game probably after his second year, right?
I will just say on the Around the NFL podcast, Kayvon Thibodeau did not sound like he wanted to go to either of the New York teams. He was like, if I go to New York, I'm living in a 3-bedroom apartment for millions of dollars. If I go to Detroit or Houston, I'm living in a sprawling mansion. He's like, I love my family, so me being on top, us being on top of each other won't be a problem. But he's like, I'm a little cheap, so I was looking at some of these housing, and I'm not loving my options in New York. It's pretty funny, he said that, and that kind of just goes to show, he is a different type of guy. He's a little, in how he answers things. There will definitely be a couple storylines over the next couple of years of Kayvon Thibodeau answering a question in a weird way in New York media, and it would have been the same here in Philadelphia media. A little bit of a different kind of cat.
All right. So, Kayvon Thibodeau to the New York Giants. We're waiting for the Carolina Panthers selection. This is where we're getting closer to Eagles territory. We really want, someone to trade up quarterbacks. Oh, no.
Jeff McClain, Eagles major trade up now seemingly unlikely, but a mini move up still in play, and in my opinion, the most likely scenario if no QBs are taken. And it seems like some of these Eagles people are saying that Kayvon was the true target for the Eagles on moving up. So it does seem like we're probably, I don't know. I don't think we're going to move up beyond the 10th pick, if I had to guess.
Would you guys call this revenge from last year with the Eagles taking Devontae Smith?
Nah, because they didn't jump. I mean, we literally jumped from 12 while the Giants had 11 to 10 to take Devontae Smith. So it's a whole different deal. But I'm sure they're not. I'm sure they're pretty pleased with themselves if that turns out to be who the Eagles were after.
Mm-hmm. By the way, Kayvon Thibodeau has a Snickers bar in his pocket, on his coat pocket.
So, yeah, I mean, realistically, if you're thinking about Eagles trades here, obviously the Panthers would love to move back, but I don't think you're moving to 6. The Giants aren't going to trade with you at 7. I would think that with the corners gone, with Thibodeau gone, the Eagles have proven time and time again they don't value the safety position. I don't think they're going to trade up for a guy like Kyle Hamilton, at least not into the top 10. maybe if he's there 12, 13, 14, or maybe even at 10, I don't know. That's obviously what I would love to see happen. I just don't know that it's super likely.
How about 5 straight defensive players here off the board? 5 straight defensive players off the board.
Yeah, it's pretty shocking we haven't seen an offensive tackle come off the board here in the top 5 picks.
We will absolutely see one come off at 7.
Yeah,
maybe even 6 here.
Although, if the Giants really want to just upset me to no end, go take Kyle Hamilton and get the 2 best players in the draft. That would be an absolute nightmare.
So the Panthers are running this down. They're under 2 minutes on the clock now, which again, they're trying to get out of this pick.
They do not want to make a pick. There's interest. Apparently, they're interested in Corral. They're interested in Pickett. They're interested in Willis. They're interested in Cross.
The pick is in, so it is not a trade.
Wow. No trade.
I don't know what it is. It said the pick is in, and then it went to a commercial break.
Evan Neal. I'll go Evan Neal here.
Did you see that, or you just think that's who it is?
No, I'm just guessing.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's either going to be Neal or Ekwonu, whoever they have higher, and I've got them neck and neck, but I would guess Evan Neal as well.
We're on a commercial break here on the draft, so we're just waiting to see who the selection is. I haven't been on Twitter since 6 o'clock. It's been nice.
Ike Ekwonu goes 6th overall.
Wow. Okay.
There goes our offensive tackle. That's a good sign for the Sixers, the Eagles. Good sign for the Sixers being up in the 4th quarter. But.
All right. Here's a little bit about Ike. Foremost, this is an absolute mauler in the run game. This is easily Ekwonu's best attribute, and he's a tone setter with nastiness on the line of scrimmage. He can uproot defenders with force, he's quick out of his stance on pulls, and delivers knockouts on the 2nd and 3rd levels. On the opposite end, with pass protection, he's a work in progress. He tends to overset, and he can be a little bit over-aggressive. With a little coaching, Ekwonu can become a top-tier tackle in the NFL. If it doesn't work out, he slides inside and becomes a Pro Bowl caliber guard for the next 10 years. I see Ike Ekwonu as a top 15 selection in this year's draft. Let's watch some highlights. So there's Ekwonu. He's an absolute monster. Not incredibly shocked he went over Evan Neal. I had Evan Neal as the best tackle, but I guess it's kind of pick your poison for what you want from your tackle, because Evan Neal is more of a pass protector. Ike's more of a mauler type of tackle. So good selection.
Yeah, I mean, I had them ranked right behind one another. I had Evan Neal just ahead. Evan Neal was my number 3 player. Ike Ekwonu was my number 4 player. It really just depends on, which type of offensive lineman that you want. So I think it's a great pick. Ekwonu he's a great run blocker. I think that, Christian McCaffrey is really going to love having them, and they're just going to love not having to do that offensive tackle shuffle that they've done over the last 7 years. So that is a better pick for them, in my opinion, than reaching for a quarterback here would have been.
See, it's funny. I disagree. I don't think you could take an offensive lineman when you're Carolina and you have no idea what you're doing at the quarterback position. Maybe this means that they're trading for Baker. I wouldn't rely on Baker as an option at this point, but I guess I know that. I guess here's my question for Shane, because you do like Malik Willis a good bit. I'm curious as to why you definitely killed Denver last year, and I know you were higher on Fields than you are on Willis for sure, but you definitely killed Denver last year for making moves when they didn't have that guy at quarterback. I guess why do you feel differently about Carolina?
Well, I just don't think Carolina, that was ever on the table for them, because I think if Matt Rule doesn't have a good year this year, he's gone, and he knows that. And Malik Willis is a little more of a projection, a little more of a project. So I evaluated Justin Fields as pretty pro-ready, and Matt Nagy made me look wrong. I still trust that evaluation. I think Fields is going to be better this year. But
That's
also,
fair.
I mean, taking that offensive tackle – it is going to be a benefit to the defense as well. So, I mean, I think it's a little different situation. If Malik Willis was a little more pro-ready, I think they probably would have taken him here. But
Rufus says, what are the odds that we can get either Hamilton or Dexton Hill? I love them both. So Hamilton's still on the board. It's going to get a little dicey very soon, Rufus.
Hamilton's going to end up in Washington. Write it down.
No, man, stop it.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
Stop.
I tend to agree.
If he makes it to 11, he won't make it past 11. Now Daxton hit. Go ahead, Martin.
I will say that there's rampant rumors about Olave to Washington. That the Washington really, really likes Olave and kind of sees another Terry McLaurin in the Ohio State receiver, and that they really think Olave will kind of unlock Carson Wentz a little bit. But those are the rumors from McShay.
All right. So the Giants are coming up next on the clock. They took Kayvon Thibodeau there with pick number 5, broke our hearts. Great selection from the Giants. Eagles were reportedly looking to trade up to take Thibodeau, but they are now just about to go on the clock here with pick number 7. Where do you think they go here? Evan Neal?
Yeah, absolutely. If they don't trade out of this pick, which they might like to do, again, I could view this as a spot, again, that Pittsburgh might want to try to come up and get Malik Willis before the Falcons and the Seahawks pick. So I think the Giants know Daniel Jones isn't probably going to be their answer, and they're going to need a quarterback next year. So if they could trade back and pick up capital for next year, I think they would like that. If they stay, I think the pick's absolutely Evan Neal.
Yeah.
It could be Cross, too. McShay said on a podcast earlier this week that the Giants had Cross as their number 1 offensive tackle. So that could be a name to watch out for.
Interesting.
Cross is technically, he's a better pass blocker. I think Neal's a better overall player, but if you just look at pass blocking, Charles Cross played at Mississippi State with Mike Leach, and so, he's pass setting nearly every play. Mike Leach doesn't run the ball, and he uses those extra wide splits too, and so Cross was truly on an island against a pass rusher every single play for his college career. So Cross could be a good pick here as well. Either it's going to be pick your poison, one of those offensive tackles, if they stand and make this pick, I think.
Pick is in for the New York Giants. We're just waiting to hear what the selection is. Meanwhile, the Philadelphia 76ers are up 97-75. They are beating the Raptors 35-15, 20 points here in the third quarter. Absolutely insane quarter. One of the best of this Sixers season, without a doubt. James Harden, Tyrese Maxey are absolutely balling right now. James Harden has a plus 27, 19 and 12 boards, just 2 turnovers. 12 assists. I'm sorry.
I am officially home to actually watch the Sixers game in front of my face and have the draft. Of course, whatever. This is a lot different than I was imagining the night going. We could still obviously see a collapse. We have seen many before from these Sixers teams, but hopefully they're just able to hold on and stomp on the throat. We don't have to sweat too much. We can just sweat whatever Howie's going to do.
It's insane, man. It's insane. This series has been so unpredictable, man.
Hey. Just because I go get a Gatorade doesn't mean you can hijack the show and make it about the Sixers.
He's back.
That's great.
All right, here we have. We're about to make our selection here.
The pick is in. I don't know what it is, but it's in.
Goodell is about to make the announcement. Evan Neal to the New York Giants is official. I mean, great draft from the Giants so far. Absolutely terrific draft. Here's a little bit about Evan Neal while I go make another drink. Absolutely massive at 6'7" and 350 pounds with a rare blend of size, athletic ability, balance, and play strength. This is a former 5-star recruit with strong hands, quick feet, and very good awareness. In pass protection, he has really good foot quickness and always remains in control to handle speed rushers. In the run game, he quickly overwhelms defenders with his size, agility, and play strength. Evan Neal has all the tools to be a top-notch starting left tackle from the jump. Concerns include a tad underdeveloped as a pass protector and occasionally getting beat by faster edge rushers. Regardless, I see this kid as a top 10 prospect, and he should be tackle number 1 off the big board by the end of the month. Let's watch some highlights.
All right, so that brings the Atlanta Falcons up on the clock here at pick number 9. We've got they've got needs at quarterback. Obviously, they traded Matt Ryan. They have Marcus Mariota, a bridge guy. This could be a spot that you see a quarterback come into play, but I think it's much more likely that this is where you're going to see the first wide receiver come off the board. After the Calvin Ridley suspension, the Falcons just have nothing on their depth chart. Their wide receiver depth chart now is Auden Tate, Demir Bird. I don't even know how to say their slot receiver's first name, but the Zacchaeus guy, I think he was a UDFA last year. And so they have a desperate need for wide receivers. I think this is the spot that we see the first wide receiver come off of the board. And so
I agree.
Look over
I agree.
Oh, there you go. I didn't know you were still here, Mark. You think they're going wide receiver here?
Yeah. I would say it's probably likely to be Garrett Wilson. I think Drake London's definitely in play here too, but if I had to guess, and I'm actually going to switch over now to the computer, so you can take it from there.
Okay, so here is our wide receiver big boards. Operating off a consensus, Jamison Williams is our wide receiver 1. He's the number 10 player overall on the big board. Drake London is 2 spots behind him at 12. Chris Olave at 16. Garrett Wilson at 19. Treylon Burks at 21. This is a strange wide receiver draft. You've got you don't have a clear-cut number 1 like we usually do, but there has been a lot of steam around Garrett Wilson to the Falcons. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. We've got Leo McGarry on Twitch says that Half and Half loves basketball, especially Kevin Durant. I do. My favorite thing about KD is that he got swept in the first round of the playoffs. So
that's great. Man, all right. So we're waiting here for 8 for Atlanta. I'm sure
where are the Falcons going?
So assuming the Falcons go wide receiver here, I've got to think the Seahawks would sprint the Charles Cross pick in. They need offensive tackle help. There's been rumor they've been connected to Trevor Penning. It's way too early for him. I don't think they anticipated Charles Cross being here. I think they would definitely take Cross if he's available at 9. What do you guys think?
Seattle's impossible to try to figure out what they're going to do. They might take a running back for all we know. But, I think that there's been rumors that they love Jordan Davis. So Seattle could be, maybe the first team that's going to look at Jordan Davis. For my sake, I really hope they take Jordan Davis, so I don't have to worry about having that conversation later for the Eagles. But and I think he makes it's a high upside swing, and Seattle's kind of at the start of a rebuild again here. So I would understand a pick like that.
What about like best player available, Jermaine Johnson here for the Atlanta Falcons at edge?
I think it'll be a receiver. It'll be interesting to see.
I mean, if we're looking at best player available, according to our consensus board, it would be obviously Kyle Hamilton, Charles Cross, but they don't really need an offensive tackle. And then you get into the receivers. You could be in Jermaine Johnson territory, another guy that I think we see go in the next few picks.
Wait, so does that mean that the first 7 picks were our top 7 consensus?
First 7 picks came out of our top 8 consensus. Kyle Hamilton is the only guy out of our top 8 that's still here, which we knew he was going to fall, but
yeah, I didn't see him at the top there.
And
all right,
third, 99.78.
Pick is in. Goodell is on at the podium. Atlanta Falcons select
Drake London.
Meanwhile, Eagles fans are rejoicing. Not me, but a lot. that they're not selecting the next J-Jaw, which I totally disagree with.
Totally. I agree with your disagreement.
At least we won't have to argue with people about it now.
I know, exactly, because that would have been nauseating. That would have been like the new thing to complain about.
So we were right about the wide receiver. We were wrong about which particular wide receiver that it was going to be. So Drake London, he is the wide receiver 2 on our board. He's the number 12 consensus player on our big board. I was a little lower on him than you guys, but I do really like the player. I was just a little concerned about his speed. I needed him to go run, and I needed him to run a sub 4.640, and he elected not to run it as pro day. It scared me off a little bit. So big bodied, typical X receiver. He led the NCAA this year in contested catches despite only playing in 8 games before he got injured. I think he is a good pick. He's got really good route running. He doesn't create the most separation off of his routes because he's not the quickest guy, but he's really good at using his body to shield off defenders. So he's going to be a good player for a quarterback that's not afraid to rip it into tight windows. I'm not sure that's Marcus Mariota, but Falcons don't expect it to be Marcus Mariota. They're going to look to a quarterback in the future. Imagine trying to defend Kyle Pitts and Drake London in the red zone.
By the way, we have Justin in the house saying Drake London. Who are we thinking will be left for the Sixers? I had Drake London number 1 on my big board. I was definitely a little wavering a little bit here in that last month. I'm not going to lie, but I kept him on there. I can't tell you how many comments were directed towards Drake London, number 1 on the wide receiver position ratings. And I was like, yes. And there it is. How about that?
So now the Seattle Seahawks are going to be on the clock. And I think they're going to go offensive tackle here unless they really like one of these quarterbacks, which it seems, all reports seem to indicate that they're not blowing smoke. They really do like Drew Lock, which I can't fathom. But I got to think Charles Cross is going to be the pick here. It'll either be Charles Cross or Malik Willis, in my opinion, with an outside shot for Jermaine Johnson. What are you guys thinking?
I'll go Jordan Davis. I think it'll be Jordan Davis here.
Okay.
I have to look at my mock. Hold on. Where we at, pick 9?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had Cross.
And the Seahawks they've got 2 picks clustered there at the top of the second round, 40 and 41. So they would have ammunition potentially to get back into the back end of the first round for a quarterback if they like a Desmond Ridder.
Drake, the recording artist Drake, who is currently probably in the Toronto Raptors building losing, he bet $100,000 that Drake London would be the first receiver selected at plus 335 odds. So Drake just made $335,000 because Drake London was the first receiver off the board. I didn't get any draft prop bets in. I didn't get a chance to go to New Jersey. But why? What do you hope I'm right about?
No,
He hopes you're right about taking Jordan Davis. He was saying earlier he doesn't want Jordan Davis.
Can we talk about how crazy this is that Kyle Hamilton's still on the board right now?
I said he wasn't gonna go top 10.
I don't understand.
It's crazy. The things he's able to do, he's not just a safety. He can play linebacker with snaps. He can play corner with snaps. And he did it in college at Notre Dame against really good competition and against a lot of different competition. So it's unbelievable. But it does seem like he's going to go in that 11 to 15 range.
James Harden just hit a step back 3 to push the Sixers lead to 104 to 81, man. This is happening, Mark. This is really happening.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I can't believe they put me through the fact that I had to sit here and worry about them and not just fully focus on the NFL draft. But whatever. I won't hold a grudge.
Sounds like you're holding a grudge.
It's a little bit of a grudge, but I won't hold a grudge since they're winning.
Justin says, "Who do you think will be left for the Eagles?" Well, the latest reports is the Eagles are going to be trying to move up pretty soon. So if Hamilton keeps slipping a little bit, I have to think how he's going to make a move at some point within the next few picks.
All right, so the Seahawks are under 4 minutes left on the clock now. Again, This is. I wonder when the last time that we've made it through the top 10 without a trade. Anybody know that? Because that could happen here.
I don't know.
Good question.
I'm going to try and look it up. So the Seahawks are down under 4 minutes now. They had the 31st ranked pass defense each of the last 2 seasons. So, maybe they try to go for a Jermaine Johnson who can rush off of the edge here. Maybe they try to go for a cornerback if they really liked, Trent McDuffie or Andrew Booth, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Justin says on YouTube the pick is in for Seattle, but we don't know what it is yet. Seattle tends to do some crazy things with their first round picks.
I hope
Shad
it's
Penny.
Cross.
Brees Hall. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God!
I wasn't announcing it. I'm just saying, like, what if they picked like Brees Hall or something like that? It wouldn't be the craziest thing they've ever done.
Pick is in for Seattle. Any news out there, Mark?
I'm not seeing anything quite yet.
By the way, I love this because in the NBA draft, what the pick is like 4 picks from now, which I hate.
I love it. I love it, but it's because Woj is a cheat code.
Justin says it's Hamilton. Nope, just kidding.
We don't listen to Justin in the chat. If one of you guys say it, I believe it. I don't believe Justin.
Justin just got canceled for the night.
Definitely canceled.
I am.
It would be probably what's his face, Adam Schefter.
All right, so unless the Jets trade out of 10, there will not be a trade in the top 10 this year.
That's insane.
It's looking like Cross.
That's what I figured. Yeah, that's what I was saying. They desperately need offensive tackle help here. I think he makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, Charles Cross is official.
All right.
All right, Charles Cross. Kyle Hamilton continues to fall. My goodness gracious. I'm going to play my Charles Cross video. Here's Charles Cross. Cross is a left tackle prospect with ideal size, length, and balance for the position. In the run game, he doesn't have elite agility or power, but he does have enough to get the job done. He does an excellent job taking angles and getting into the second level. In pass protection, he's oddly polished despite only 22 starts under his belt. Pass protection is where Charles Cross as a prospect shines. His awareness is elite, and he has enough athleticism to cover up counter moves as needed. This, along with his play strength and physicality as a run blocker, Charles Cross is an immediate impact starter at the next level, and I see him as a round 1 selection in this year's draft. Let's watch some highlights. All right, so that is a little bit on Charles Cross here, and Goodell has just made it official there. So we are moving on to pick number 10, which is the Jets, I believe.
Yes, so the Jets are going to be back on the clock here. They already took a cornerback at pick number 4, so they have addressed the defense in some way. I think the pick right here, I think you're going to see Jermaine Johnson. There's not an offensive tackle to take here, so you're either going to see Jermaine Johnson or you're going to see their pick of the wide receivers. They were rumored to be big on Drake London. I think Jamison Williams would be their fallback guy. So I think you're either going to see Jermaine Johnson or Jamison Williams here for the Jets.
Sixers are on another run here, 108-82 in the fourth quarter. It's a rout, Shane. Shane, we've got a rout on our hands.
All right, that means we don't need to talk about the Sixers anymore. It's locked down.
Still 8 minutes left, Shane.
That's all right.
We're up 26.
So it is good to see, for the Eagles' sake, to see the offensive tackles starting to come off the board here. We knew that was probably going to happen. And good for my Eagles takes that Jordan Davis is still on the board here as well. So maybe we'll get into that discussion later. So what do you guys think is the pick here for the Jets? Do you think they trade? Do you think they stick and pick? What do you think is going to happen here?
Jermaine Johnson makes a lot of sense. I'll go Garrett Wilson here for the Jets.
Yeah, I think those are the 2 names.
Did you just say this makes a lot of sense, so I'm going to pick something else because it's the Jets? Is that what I heard?
They did take Sauce.
Yeah, they already have a home run draft. They got Sauce Gardner, but I think they'll address. Jermaine Johnson would be a terrific pick. I can't believe he's fallen a little bit. Love that kid, but I think another really good fit for them would be Garrett Wilson, wide receiver out of Ohio State, who's one of the premier slot receivers in this draft.
Another thing that you could potentially keep an eye on here, and I don't think it'll happen, but they've been rumored to be in on Deebo Samuel. It'd be crazy if you see a Deebo Samuel trade happen with this pick right now. Maybe the 49ers want to wait and see which receivers are actually here. Obviously, there's a guy that's a Deebo Samuel clone and Treylon Burks, but he would have always been here at 10, so I can't imagine that would be what they're thinking. But it could be something to keep an eye on. Maybe the 49ers will make a deal here on the clock, although that would be cutting it pretty tight to get that deal done.
Well,
You're fine. You don't have to. I have a background.
all right.
I'm just realizing that I didn't have the offensive tackle screenshot saved onto my computer to do stuff with. So I've been tweeting graphics of the people that got picked, and I don't have offensive tackle ones, but that's okay.
So
if you guys are watching here in the comments, drop us some comments, questions. Doesn't have to be Eagles related. Any team we'll talk
Sixers?
about. So any NFL team we'll talk about. Drop it down here in the comments, and we'd love to interact with you guys. The Jets are under 5 minutes on the pick right here.
Best available, Aiden Hutchinson's mom per Twitter. Oh man,
There's always one.
How about this interesting kind of layout for the draft so far? You had 5 straight defensive players, and now we're on 4 straight offensive players. If you're going to go by that, you think an offensive player is going to go here at number 10.
There you go. Maybe you've unlocked the formula.
It's math.
So that means the Eagles would take a defensive player at 15 and an offensive player at 18. The pick is in, so the Jets are going to stick at 10. We do not yet know what the pick is, though.
It's got to be one of those 2 names Dobbs said, with Jermaine Johnson or Garrett Wilson. They make so much sense here at 10. First time since 2015 that there are 3 offensive linemen taking the top 10. Garrett Wilson is the pick at number 10 to the New York Jets, and we are one step closer. Kyle Hamilton being available at 15. But here we are at the most problematic spot.
Yeah,
we could be.
Washington and Minnesota are definitely targeting defensive backs here.
I do not love that pick for the Jets. Let me just be clear there. I'm not the biggest Garrett Wilson guy. I have him as my number 6 wide receiver, but he just went off the board as the number 2 wide receiver. I think it's a little bit of a reach. I would have looked at some of the other receivers. I would have looked at Jermaine Johnson before I would have done that. So love what they did at 4. Not necessarily the biggest fan of that pick at number 10.
Yeah, so Garrett Wilson is the first player outside the top 15 on our consensus big board to come off the board. We had him at consensus number 19 player.
Wow.
He was my wide receiver 7, I think.
Wow.
I'm going to go check that now. Let me tab over to just the wide receivers.
Holy cow.
Oh, no, he was my wide receiver 6. So, yeah, definitely. We as a group were definitely lower on Garrett Wilson, but I know PFF has him at number 12 overall. The Ringer had him at number 16 overall. So they are definitely higher on Garrett Wilson than we were as we went through our rankings. But that's going to bring us up now to the Washington Commanders. I think this is the spot where Mark's heart's going to be broken again, because I fully believe that Washington is going to take Kyle Hamilton here.
Yeah, the problem is I don't believe it. That's the problem. I think it's going to be Olave, so that means when they do take Hamilton, it's going to crush my soul.
Washington is trading back.
What?
Washington is trading back.
They don't know who's trading up?
I don't know. Ian Rappaport said the Washington Commanders are trading back from number 11.
Oh my God!
Source.
Oh, it's the
my
Saints.
God!
The Saints, according to Garofolo, the Saints are moving up to number 11.
All right,
here.
so Willis, right? No, it's got to be Olave. It's got to be Olave.
I think it's Olave. too.
Yeah. So the Saints
That's
were
good.
rumored- So
That's good.
what was the trade? Do we know?
No, it just says with the Saints.
Okay, so the Saints have picks at 16. Here, I'll tab over to the Saints. They have picks
Holy
at
cow! What's up, Rob?
16 and 19. So I'm assuming that they're going to give one of those up and something else to get up.
Boys, when we have a few moments, I will share the craziness of the last 2.5 hours of my life.
Lay it on us while we wait on this trade.
Why I'm just joining you at 9:20 because I'm coaching my daughter's softball team. Of course, she had practice at 6:30, so I had to go handle that. I'm like paying attention to Sixers score, all this stuff. I come home. My wife, who was supposed to be on by like 8, lost track of time, and she was late. So now I got all 3 kids who are like crying for mom. So I'm like, all right, I got to let them stay up. As they're staying up, jumping around, being crazy, I'm watching the Sixers, and Danny Green hits a 3. And I jump up in the air, and when I come down, I land on a little checker piece and roll my ankle. Like straight, like think of playing basketball straight, rolling your ankle. And all of a sudden, right in the area of my Achilles, I can't put any pressure on my foot. And I'm like, oh my God, I just popped my Achilles cheering for Danny Green. Like that was my first thought. I'm like, holy shit, I just popped my Achilles. So then I'm like trying to take care of them. I can't move my foot. Fortunately, the foot's starting to work itself out. So I did not pop my Achilles. But and I just got the kids in bed. Very excited right now. I wasn't too excited draft-wise. When I saw Stingley, Gardner, Thibodeau, it was like bam, 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 damn it. There goes those dreams. But I do like the fact the Saints traded up. I can't imagine they're going safety here because right now, I guess, look, there's a lot of guys left on the board that I'd be happy if the Eagles selected. But obviously, Kyle Hamilton is probably my favorite at this point. So I would love to see it fall. But I don't know because I think Minnesota needs a safety as well. Jermaine Johnson's still on the board, or did he go?
He's still there. So this is the board.
Yeah.
Mark's talking, but he's muted, but I think he knows who the pick is.
No, I don't know who the pick is. The Saints only gave up a 3rd and a 4th.
Wow, that's a deal.
Which pick?
Why didn't we give up a 3rd and a 4th?
Which of their first? Because Washington wouldn't do it with us. Which of their
that's fair.
First did they give up? Do you know?
So we're thinking it's Olave here?
16, 98, and 120.
So what is it, like Olave, Jamison Williams? It's got to be one of those two.
It could be a quarterback. It could definitely be a quarterback.
So they need an offensive tackle. You don't trade up for an offensive tackle here. There's not one. So I think it's either Olave, who is a guy they were really high on, or they came up to go get Malik Willis. I think those are the 2 options here.
I'm going Chris Olave or Jamison Williams. I think they want a wide receiver.
But there's nobody that they needed to skip over to get Willis, if that's what they were doing. Although they could be competing with a team like the Steelers trying to trade up. So that'd be the reason for a trade up here. Not that they were trying to get in front of the Vikings or even the Texans, Ravens, Eagles.
And a 3rd and a 4th is nothing.
Yeah, that's a small price to pay to get up there and get a guy that you really like. And there has been a lot of rumors that they have really liked Olave, and so did the Eagles. So Olave was always going to go somewhere between 15 and 19, where the Eagles and the Saints controlled 4 of those 5 picks.
The Saints have now traded up 24 times in the past 16 drafts, have not traded down since 2007.
We have Brian Baker in the house saying, hey guys, Pun Master has arrived. Sorry I'm late. Quinn says, do you guys like J. Joe at tight end? Any quick thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah, the only place I like to play him is on a bus somewhere. Move him to a bus and get him the hell out of here. I got no time for it.
Rufus says, glad Rob didn't blow his Achilles. Howie would have tried drafting him.
Dude, I'm telling you, I twisted my ankle 1,000 times in my life. I've never felt pain in that spot. And I was like, it wasn't excruciating. So I wasn't like, all right, there's no way I blew it. But I'm telling you, when I couldn't step down on my foot without it, like going back, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me because of a goddamn checker piece from one of my kids' toys.
I'm telling you right now, it's a good thing Rob doesn't play for the Eagles, because if he sprained his ankle on a checker piece, he would have a ruptured Achilles by the time the medical staff got through with him.
Yes, this is also true.
Speaking of like tearing your Achilles, like why is Embiid still in this game?
I totally agree with you there. 119 to 90, get his ass out. Holy shit! But
Man,
Chris
what a hell of a
Olave,
third quarter by those boys.
Can I tell you another draft pet peeve of mine? Is trading up and then running the clock out. Like you traded up to get somebody, just turn the card in. The Saints are
Chris
still on the
Olave.
clock.
It's Chris Olave, by the way.
They're under 2 minutes.
All right, is it Chris Olave?
Yes.
Chris Olave.
We'll get
yeah.
Baker's back with his puns.
Favorite part of the draft show last year.
I don't want any of the green or black olives. I don't want any of those.
No, I don't like olives.
Olives are the worst. Those are
You ever
disgusting.
heard of the olive theory?
No.
No one's a How I Met Your Mother guy in here?
I am. I don't know that one though.
I watched
think
How I
it's-
Met Your Father, but I've never watched How I Met Your Mother.
I feel like you've got to be like one of
Yeah,
those
what?
people to only
You're
watch the second
backwards.
version.
That's completely
But-
back.
I know.
But it's that the olive theory is that your significant other has to have the opposite feeling about olives that you have. So if you love olives, your significant other has to hate them. If you hate olives, your significant other has to love them. That's the olive theory.
By the
My
way,
wife and I aren't going to make it, guys.
Shane, don't kill me, but I just have to bring this up. That is such a scumbag move by not only Pascal Siakam, but by Toronto as a whole for cheering the elbow to Joel Embiid's eye. That's absolutely – guess what, scumbags? You're now on my shit list higher than Cleveland. I just want you to know that.
You
Toronto.
love Cleveland.
The Lions are on the clock.
What?
The
Lions are
have
taking-
moved
Lions
up to
are-
12.
Taking Malik Willis.
100% Malik Willis.
It could be Kyle Hamilton, though.
No, it's 100% Malik Willis. I feel it. I feel it. I feel it.
What did they give?
My wife likes olives and I don't. My wife likes olives and I don't, Quentin. So there it is.
So what did the
theory.
Lions give up?
Exactly.
Anybody know
Nothing yet. Nothing yet.
Wow.
Okay. So
Is this
the
going to happen, guys?
The
So
Lions
where-
already got their edge and Aiden Hutchinson. Their next biggest need has got to be quarterback. They do need defensive back. It could be Kyle Hamilton. But yeah, I'd say it's Willis or Hamilton here.
People are acting like it's a QB.
So what about Minnesota?
They traded
Minnesota
down, right?
wanted a cornerback, and Stingley's gone. They were linked to Trent McDuffie a lot. Maybe they don't like him as much, or they think they can get him later. I don't know.
So the Eagles are going to be sitting here at pick 15 and take Kyle Hamilton. Is that possible?
Now, I don't know. Will the Texans – I know the Texans took Stingley, but do they still need safety help? Like, are they interested in Kyle Hamilton?
We need to break down these position needs right now.
I think they would be interested in him, but you have to imagine taking a D-back earlier makes it a little less likely they'll go double D-back. And there's also rumors that they love Jermaine Johnson, who is somehow still on the board. So Houston could take Jermaine, and it could come down to a situation where it's Baltimore, who I don't think they're lock solid at safety right now.
No.
So
that's why. So do the Eagles try and go up 2 spots? Well, it depends on if they love right? You got to love Hamilton to make any move.
Guys, if Hamilton's available at 15 and they don't take him, I don't know if I can continue.
No.
Oh my God!
Talk about that. That would be an absolute nightmare.
Listen, I'm telling you right now, what would be amazing is if they traded up somewhere here, right? And we all thought, oh my God, they're going after Kyle Hamilton, and they drafted a defensive end that we don't know about. Like, they don't even draft Jermaine Johnson. They draft some it'll seriously be like the Brandon Graham, Earl Thomas.
What about the Ravens? Ravens?
They trade up and they take Boye Mafe.
Yeah.
Wow, this is a weird trade. 12 and 46 for 32, 34, and 66.
Interesting. That sounds like a Draft Network trade I make.
Seriously. That
So
feels like a good
all
trade
my
for
trade
Detroit.
graphics, all my graphics are just shot to crap now.
That feels like a good trade for Detroit to pick up 46 also in addition to 12 here for 32, 34, and 66. That feels like a really, really good move.
Give me the numbers again, and I'll run it here on the trade value chart.
I feel like the trade value chart probably won't support Detroit here, but 12 and 46 for 32, 34, and 66.
Okay.
So we had five. We had 5 straight defensive players taken. Now we've had 6 straight offensive players taken in this draft. Unbelievable.
They gave up 32, you said. They gave up 34 and what?
It looks like it's Willis. 66, 32, 34, and 66.
You think Lions are taking Willis?
That's what people are saying. It could be.
That shows
what
the
if
trade
Johnson,
value chart shows them coming out on top by about a third round pick.
Who?
The Lions.
Oh, wow.
Justin's asks, what if Jermaine Johnson and Kyle Hamilton are there at 15? 100% Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah, it's not close.
But the Eagles wouldn't. The Eagles wouldn't. They would 100% take Jermaine Johnson.
I don't know if I agree. I have Hamilton 1 and Jermaine Johnson 17, so they're not particularly close.
Can you imagine we finally get a safety? Yeah, I hear that, Rob, man. What a fucking win, man. That's one of the best wins in a long time, man. Yeah. A long time.
It plays the straight Philly, right? Like whenever we expect them to win, they don't. Then when everybody's like, oh, it's over, we're done. They come out, and that third quarter was like just perfection.
Yeah, I can't wait to rewatch this game.
I just Nick Nurse out of a game.
I just read Joel Embiid's lips to that ref, and he said, "Go back and watch that play after the game, and you will know that it was a foul." That's a funny thing to say to a ref, to go back and watch the play after the game.
Well, they did end up they reversed it and called it an offensive foul. They didn't even give him the bucket.
That's funny. So we're waiting for Detroit here. People are speculating that it's going to be a QB.
Benjamin Solak on Twitter just said that per sources it was for Jamison Williams.
Wow.
I'll take that. I'm good with that. I am good with that.
I'm not saying that's true. That's just a rumor.
Brian says, anybody into some Irish coffee tonight?
So Hamilton?
Yeah, that sounds like a Hamilton one, right?
I mean, I could see them really loving him.
No, it's Jameson.
Oh, Jameson, Irish.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, what if it's
Jameson Williams, official. Jameson Williams at 12.
Wow, guys, this is happening.
That's the guy who I thought
what
was
about
draft.
What are Baltimore needs?
I absolutely do not like that pick for the Lions. That's in my opinion, that trade up for a receiver when you don't have a quarterback. I don't like that at all.
I like it. The Lions are at the beginning of a rebuild, so they're getting a chance that that guy could have been a top 5 pick with no injury. So I feel like why not trade 2 seconds and a third to go get a guy who could be a top 5 receiver one day.
Whoa! Eagles on the clock.
At 13?
Whoa!
So here's the question, right? Because this is what I'm thinking. It's got to be they want an edge rusher.
Oh my God!
So I don't know if they're guaranteed.
What?
If the Eagles traded up, they're taking Jermaine Johnson.
Yeah.
You can write it down.
Please be Hamilton. Please be Hamilton. Please be Hamilton.
Oh my God. I'm panicking. The Eagles have traded up here. Pick number 13, moved up 2 spots. It better freaking be Kyle Hamilton. And you know how he's not going to do it. I don't
think Baltimore was going to take Jermaine Johnson.
Yeah. So
maybe Houston was? I don't know.
All right, so any idea what the details are here?
So, no, I don't know what the trade was. So I think Hamilton would be an option. I think Jermaine Johnson would be an option. I think Jordan Davis would be an option. If you're trying to jump Baltimore, it makes me think Jordan Davis is the guy that they're after here because that's the guy that Baltimore had heavy interest in.
If we trade up for Jordan Davis while Kyle Hamilton's on the clock, I'm probably hopping off. Holy shit! If we trade up for a 2-down defensive tackle who's never had 3 sacks in a year instead of the best safety I've ever evaluated, and in Shane's words, the best defensive player he's ever evaluated, that would be an absolute travesty. And I know people like Jordan Davis. That would be an absolute travesty, and I will not be happy.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: to jump the Ravens, Jordan Davis was a guy that was probably high on the Ravens list.
A 4th and 2/5. That's it.
Nice.
Wait, they gave up 15. So what did they give up?
Was it 15? I'm assuming, Mark.
That's what it looks like.
So 15, the 4th, and 2 of the 5th rounders, which, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. The Eagles had a lot of draft capital here. They weren't going to make all those picks.
Right. Right.
And I think trading back from 18 could also be in the cards there. So
I agree.
I like the value in what they gave up, and we'll see what the pick is.
Listen, I gotta tell you, like, I understand Mark's frustration, and I think I feel that too. But this is a year where I think the Eagles have so many holes,
and he tackles not one of them.
Yeah,
it's not one of the top 7.
I don't know though, because you're talking about you're the only 2 guys that are only here another year, and you're not playing for a Super Bowl next year. And I don't know, like any of those 3 guys, I'm going to be okay with. I mean, I'm with you, Mark. I would obviously much rather have a guy like a Kyle Hamilton, but, I'm not surprised. I mean, the Eagles value the defensive line, and I'm going to win $55 off of this bet if it's Jordan Davis, by the way, as I took the Eagles for $25, first pick defensive lineman.
It better be Kyle Hamilton. This would be just a massive – I mean, I like Jermaine Johnson a lot, but he's not Kyle Hamilton's on number 1 on my big board. Jermaine Johnson, I had like at 8, 9.
Can I just be grossly irresponsible for a minute with draft capital? Imagine the Chargers getting Kyle Hamilton at 17 and having Kyle Hamilton and Derwin James as a safety duo. Like, can you even imagine that? That'd be insane.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Jordan Davis. I'm done. That's unbelievable. It's Jordan Davis.
Are you serious right now?
It's Jordan Davis. I'm done with Howie Roseman. I'm done.
So they leaped Baltimore. They leaped Baltimore and took Jordan Davis is what we are hearing. That is a thing. No, like this is one of the most divisive players by far. A lot of people love him. A lot of people are like know about him. I mean, pound for pound, he's one of the most freak athletes in this draft. 6'5", blew everyone away at the combine here. But this is a major mistake if you're taking Jordan Davis over a much, much better playmaker than Kyle Hamilton. I'm speechless.
Yeah, I mean, so for me, I'm disappointed because I wanted Kyle Hamilton. He's my number 1 guy. Yeah. But I'm very high on Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis was the number 7 player on my big board. And I'll talk for a little bit while you all cool off. But Jordan Davis, elite athlete. There's his spider chart. He has a 10.0 relative athletic score. He is just a monster on the interior of your defensive line. And it's a position that the Eagles prioritize. They always have. Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave, both gone after this year. You hear the concerns about Jordan Davis being a 2-down player. That doesn't mean he can't be a 3-down player. And that's a projection for him to become a pass rusher, but it's not any bigger of a projection than it was for Trayvon Walker. These guys are going where they're at because of their elite athleticism. And with the Eagles moving to more too high safety looks, it takes the guy out of the box. We saw how the Eagles were against the run early in the year last year. They were getting gashed. Jordan Davis solves that problem for you. He steals a gap on the interior of your defensive line. He's going to, by proxy, help your pass defense a lot because you can get these guys out of the box. You can allow them to play downhill on stuff in front of them. It helps your coverage because it helps you stop the run with less resources. So I really like Jordan Davis. Again, he was number 7 on my board. Dibes and Mark were lower on him than I was. I think it's a really good pick. I think leaping Baltimore to get him makes sense, and I think they didn't give up very much to do it. It's just the opportunity cost of a Kyle Hamilton, a guy that we're all very high on, that does make that sting a little bit.
All right, here's a little bit about Jordan Davis. Top 20 grade on Jordan Davis, standing at 6'6" and 340 pounds. Jordan Davis possesses unbelievable strength and athleticism on the interior. This is a prospect who drives offensive linemen 3 to 5 yards back into the backfield. Davis's combo of elite athleticism for his size and hand power makes him by far the best run-defending defensive tackle in this year's class. He's got an incredibly rare burst and quickness off the line to not only get to the quarterback, but dispose of double teams. To cap it off, he's also got elite versatility on the line. He can either be a single or two gap player in an odd or even front. He can also remain on the field in passing situations. All of that combined makes Jordan Davis my number 1 defensive tackle in this year's class. Let's watch some highlights.
Davis is lined up here. Watch how he just uses his power. 6'6", 340 pounds. He rips right through 2 offensive linemen.
With 32 seconds to go, play clock at 1. Play action pass. Doty in trouble! And it didn't look like he got out of the end zone from here. It's a safety.
This is the best field position the Hogs have started with in their own 36. And Smith, their top running back, is slammed down. Once again, it's Jordan Davis.
2 weeks. Try to do that with Beatty. Instead, Beatty is taken down by Jordan Davis.
To get ready for Georgia. There's no reason to panic.
My goodness, Jordan Davis showed some quickness for a monstrously huge.
All right, so that is Jordan Davis of the Eagles. What are our quick grades here for the Philadelphia Eagles? I think I would probably give it – I think the problem is I like Jordan Davis, but not over Kyle Hamilton. That's where my head is at. Like, I don't have anything against Jordan Davis. My problem is I take the safety. I take the Kyle Hamilton pick 10 times out of 10. I'd probably give this like a C+, because I do think he's an impact player. And I do think there is an Eagles verse where Jordan Davis, that conditioning clicks, and he could literally find himself a top 20 player in the NFL. Like, that is his ceiling. It's amazing. But for me, this kills me. This hurts.
I just want to, look, I'm going to give it about a B+, and I think the only reason I'm not giving it an A is because, kind of like Dive said, I would have preferred Kyle Hamilton to Jordan Davis, but let's take a couple things into consideration here. The Eagles, right? They value the trenches. They're always going to look at the trenches before other positions. Doesn't matter what we say. It doesn't matter what we want. And guess what? Their defensive tackle picks in the past have tended to be decent if you think about the history of the Philadelphia Eagles. So, and here's my other thing, and this is what I said 2 years ago, not to bring this up with Dives, but 2 years ago when I was all about Justin Jefferson, I said, here's a guy who played on a championship team, has that it factor, knows how to win. Jordan Davis was a part of what was known as one of the best defenses in college football, arguably in the last, 25, 30 years. I mean, they were stout, and they were really stout on those downs where he would be an impact player. So I'm okay with that, right? Fletcher's gone after this year. Javon Hargrave probably gone after this year. All right? Why not draft a defensive lineman? And I get what everybody's saying about Kyle Hamilton, but I don't agree with Mark that this wasn't a position of need for this team. I absolutely think it was, and I think you got a freak athlete that can really be, as Dive said, look, when I look at Eagles drafts, I want the impact players in the first round. I want guys that are going to be on the field. He's going to be on the field, and he's going to make plays. So I'll give it a B+.
What about you, Shane?
So he's the number 7 player on my board, and they got him at 13. Obviously, my number 1 player is on the board, and it's also a position of need, so I'll dock it a little bit for that. But, yeah, I'm going to give it a solid B+. I think Davis is a great player. He's got great potential, and I think that he's going to be able to learn. He's going to be able to do his conditioning program this year as a rotational piece. And he's going to be the starter for the Eagles next year because either Cox or Hargrave will be gone. Maybe they both will. So I think it was a big need. I like the pick. I was very high on him.
All right. So Goodell was actually finally making the selection here for the Eagles.
And I won $55, so I'm good.
There you go.
Not to mention I took the Sixers money line tonight, so I just hit my 2 bets on the day now.
Yeah.
So the Ravens are up.
Ankle be damned. Who cares about that ankle?
Yeah.
You pay for those medical bills, I guess.
That's right.
The Ravens are up here, and I've got to imagine that they're going to really like Jermaine Johnson. They need an edge. Jermaine Johnson should. I mean, he should have gone earlier than this. I think Jermaine Johnson would be a slam dunk pick for them.
Is there a remote chance that Kyle Hamilton is available at pick 18?
Well, who's left on the board?
Yeah. Here, hold on. Before you do that, Benjamin Solak just tweeted and said, Jordan Davis is a dream pick for the Eagles. He single-handedly makes the entire Gannon defensive structure work. He is a math changer in the run game, a scale tipper, a force multiplier in the worlds of two deep safeties and light boxes. Home run pick.
That was
Yeah,
Yeah, that was Solak.
I'll concede, like, he's way smarter than I am.
Although he really loved Donnell Pumphrey, so.
I mean,
Don't
Jordan,
bring that up. Why did you say that?
it's nothing. It's not against
I
Jordan
mean, he was a
Davis.
4th-round pick, so.
Like I said, it's nothing against Jordan Davis. Like, he's going to be a fun player to root for on this defensive line and watch him grow. But a 2-down guy versus what's your take, Shane? Like, who can shape a defense more, Jordan Davis or Kyle Hamilton?
Kyle Hamilton's going to change your defense more from day one. He always is, because you can move him around. You can do so many different things with him. The thing is, we've seen those sort of guys fall. You saw Derwin James several years ago. You saw Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah last year, because the problem is, if you build your defense around a safety that can play center field, he can play split field, linebacker, slot corner, you have to have another one of those guys, because if that guy gets hurt, your whole defense is built around a player that no longer exists. And so I do think those versatile positionless players do fall sometimes because of that. It's still a possibility. I don't think the Eagles will take Hamilton at 18, even if he's there, because they don't value the safety position that much. But I can dream until it doesn't happen. So
yeah.
Well, so the teams that are picking ahead of them at this point then are going to be Houston's at 15. Redskins are now at 16. And I don't think he gets past Washington, because I think Ron Rivera will love the idea of adding him to his defense. And then what you said, the Chargers are at 17, right? So they're the next three. I don't know what the Chargers just continue to just try and load up defensive players. So nothing would surprise me in Los Angeles with them. But
I don't think the Chargers would take him, because they've already got Derwin. But I thought the Commanders were going to take him at 11.
So did I.
If he's there at 16, I think they'll take him. I think you could see the Texans potentially take him too, although they did already take a cornerback. But Lovie Smith would love this guy for sure.
Stevens in the house saying, I got my guy. Rufus says, all of Walmart just looked at me as I screamed. All right, so I'm looking at 18, Andrew Booth Jr. For me. That's kind of where I'm at right now mentally. Again, I don't hate the pick. I think Jordan Davis has a lot of potential.
The Ravens pick is in. Go ahead, though. You go ahead, and then I'll talk about I'll tell you who the Ravens picked.
But yeah, I think I'm always gonna think, what if with Kyle Hamilton every time, he's making plays and interceptions and being that captain of his next defense. So it just sucks.
Yes.
Yeah. Pick is in for Baltimore. You're ahead of me.
Well, I saw it on Twitter.
Okay.
So according to Twitter, the pick is Kyle Hamilton for the Ravens at 14.
So there's the dream dead.
Never mind.
Hey, at least that keeps him out of the division, if that's true.
Yeah, I mean, look, he didn't end up with the Giants. He didn't end up with the Commanders. He ends up not only out of division but out of conference. And I think it's a good spot for him. I think when you talk about the Ravens, they breeded safeties there. They've had some really good ones. So, I know the pain here. I know Philadelphia fans. I know the love of Kyle Hamilton. I get it. But as Shane said, the chances that the Eagles were going to take a safety were probably slim. And I don't think, I'm seeing people, they already drafted a bust. I think that's just not, you're not paying attention. And the lines are important. The Eagles were not a great defensive, not as good of a defensive line as we needed last year. And this guy helps that. I think he helps that. So I'm okay with the pick.
Steve said, I love Davis. It's an automatic double team. It allows linebackers to cheat that split second outside. Rufus said in a pass first league, Howie drafted a run stopper. The only thing that saves this for me is Daxton Hill. I disagree with that. In a pass first league, he drafted a guy that lets you put an extra guy out of the box in pass coverage. So I disagree with that viewpoint. And Brian says the Eagles are on the clock again. So the Eagles apparently traded up from 18 to 15. I haven't seen that anywhere else, though.
Are they going to draft another defensive lineman?
Devin Lloyd, let's go.
Nah, it won't be Lloyd, but like
I think it's Andrew Booth Jr. here for the Eagles. I think that's where they're going.
If they traded up for a corner, it is not Andrew Booth.
Yeah, I agree.
If they traded up for a corner, it'll be McDuffie.
Yeah. Now you guys talk to me because I wasn't crazy about McDuffie, so I need to know a little bit about the kid.
Yeah, Shane and I are literally the opposite.
You guys are opposites.
So Dibes doesn't like him, I do, and it all comes down to his arm length. He's like 8th percentile arm length. I think it's 11th percentile wingspan. So there's concerns about him playing outside. He's super smooth in zone cover. Oh, okay. Brian says the Eagles did not trade up to 15. I think it was 16 maybe. So
wait, what does that mean?
So he thinks the Eagles traded up, but not to 15. The Texans are picking at 15 apparently.
So
anyways, on McDuffie, I think I think he's going to stick on the outside in the league. I think he's going to be a really good player. I think if he can't do that, if he has to go into the slot, or I think he can be a really good safety too. But I just have confidence that he's going to be able to stick as an outside corner in the league.
Yeah. Like McDuffie is like super twitchy. He's got great versatility. I just think, for me personally, he's going to thrive more so in the slot than on the outside. And I think he probably could do both pretty well, but I think it's going to be eventually in the slot.
Yeah, I really am hoping it's not McDuffie. I'm hoping that they didn't trade up for a corner. But at this point, I don't know. Is there not like all the big receivers are gone, right? Like there's no one.
No, there's plenty of receivers left.
Plenty of receivers left, but are there any that you would have to trade up from 18 to 16 to go get?
No, I don't think so.
I mean,
Brian says the Texans are picking at 15 and they're seeing green. Any ideas there?
Are there any other teams that are green?
They're seeing green.
Kenyon Green inside. Your offensive lineman.
Okay. Man, I can't, you got, once again, I always come to you guys because of how close you followed it. How surprised are you that Jermaine Johnson is still on the board?
Yeah, big time. I mean,
surprising.
Yeah, I thought, that was a high riser through the draft process. Just one of the best athletes in this entire draft. Really shocked he's fallen because I think most of us here had him pegged as a top 10. I think I had him top 10 and top 15. So he's definitely slipping a little bit.
So I had him as 17. Dibes had him 7. Mark had him 17. He was the consensus number 11 player on our board with an average ranking of 14.3. So, I think that Mark and I were lower on him than consensus. So I think it's pretty surprising that he's still here.
You see what Boyle wrote?
Draft Wyatt at 18 and build that Georgia D line, and then go trade up and get Nakobe Dean at the top of the second.
Yeah, let's go. Hey, I'm all about it. Georgia this year. It was Bama last year. We go Georgia this year.
Leo McGarry on Twitch says Hollywood Brown traded to Arizona.
Wait, what?
According to Ian Rappaport.
Oh,
wow.
And Baker said the Eagles did not trade up. Commanders are connecting the dots at 16. Is that Jahan Dotson?
Jahan Dotson in the first round? No way.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that's great for the Eagles.
So, was Kenyon Green the official pick for the Texans?
I mean, it's the Bryant Baker pick, and if anybody, I don't care. That's my official pick.
All right, Marquise Brown to Arizona.
Yeah, Kenyon Green is officially the pick for the Texans.
So what are we thinking here for the Eagles' 18th selection? What are we thinking here?
I got no clue. I am hoping
Whatever
it's
causes me maximum pain. I'm in utter shock, guys. Like I usually can't even put on like a face for that one. That's one of the worst picks I can ever remember as an Eagles fan.
I agree, man.
I'm gonna go. Does anybody know what the Hollywood Brown deal was?
20. I think
Here
it
we
was 23
go.
for Hollywood and 100.
Yeah. So we've traded Marquise Brown and the 100th pick to the Cardinals for pick 23.
I love that trade for Baltimore. Hollywood Brown's not that good.
Yeah. Wow.
Hollywood Brown. I'm an OU fan, as you guys know, following my draft work. Hollywood Brown, that draft, I was terrified the Eagles were going to take him. I absolutely did not want him, and I was so happy when the Ravens took him.
Yeah, I've never been a huge fan.
So the Ravens will be on the board at 23 now. The Commanders are still up, and it sounds like Jahan Dotson is the pick. The pick is in, but it has not been officially announced yet.
Anybody watching the NFL Network coverage? Because after Jordan Davis was picked, he went out to the Eagles fans and started just jumping around with them, celebrate with them. It's actually pretty cool.
The fact that dude can jump at 360 pounds tells you what kind of an athlete he is.
Yeah, he's crazy. He is crazy.
Never mind. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do a rant. What is the athleticism means nothing.
That's not true at all.
What does the athleticism do for his game? What does he do with his athleticism in a football sense?
Plays football. I mean,
that's not a real answer. Like, what does he do? He's a terrible pass rusher. Cosell said it best, the NFL Films guy. He's strong, not powerful. He does not push the middle of the line on a pass rush. His pass rush technique is terrible. He has no idea what to do with his hands. So is the athleticism helping him be an elite run stuffer? Because that's all he is. An elite run stuffer, and I don't really see any sort of upside for anything else.
I don't know. I mean, I think. Well, look, you guys filed a draft. I'll let you guys fight this one out.
I just don't know where the athleticism that I keep hearing about comes into play. If he's a terrible pass rusher who is never going to be counted on third down or to get sacks. The athleticism coming in. Is he dropping back in coverage? I don't think so. He's not doing anything with his athleticism. He's standing there eating up space and attacking the run. And that has nothing to do with athleticism. It has to do with his body.
Yeah, this comes back to Howie's positional value, man. It's just every single time we want a safety, he pulls the rug under our feet, and this is what it is. This is what it is, man.
I just don't. I don't get it. I don't get the athleticism point. Everyone's just going to keep saying, yeah, it's RAS is 10. He ran so fast. When is Jordan Davis going to have to run 40 yards? He's never going to have to run 40 yards. He's never going to have to run 20 yards. So that speed means nothing. I don't get it. I really, really don't get it.
We have a comment that says we have a lot of running backs in our division. He likes the pick. Kamar. So
Zeke is aging.
As far as I can see,
Barkley
the Commanders' pick still has not been announced. Has anybody seen anything different?
I haven't seen anything except for a friend of mine in the group chat. There's a friend of mine in the group chat who's a huge Washington fan, and all he typed is, "Oh fuck." So it doesn't sound like he was too thrilled. But, I don't know.
Is it Dotson?
That's what Bryant alluded to, but I haven't seen that official anywhere.
Yeah. No, I think that's official.
I can't imagine a world where you take Dotson over Treylon Burks. I can't. And
in other places have Treylon Burks outside of their top 50.
I think the Eagles at 18 should be looking at Treylon Burks 100%. Should be looking at Andrew Booth Jr. 100%. Even Jermaine Johnson is now
If we're looking at wide receivers here, Jahan Dotson is. I mean, he's a little ways down the board here. The biggest thing with Dotson is that he's just a slot. He's a really good slot, but he's really limited in that way. So maybe that makes sense for the Commanders to get a slot receiver that can operate over the middle of the field with Carson Wentz. I don't like taking him at 16, but if that's the guy they liked initially and they were able to trade back and get him, I guess that's not a bad deal. It's definitely not the receiver that I would take here.
I agree. I totally agree. Like, I put Burks over Dotson. I'd put Pickens. I'd even put Chris.
Whoa! The Titans just traded A.J. Brown to the Eagles.
Yeah! Tell me
Shut
you're
up.
serious.
A.J. Brown.
What?
It's for real.
Blockbuster trade per Schefter. Adam
That's
Schefter.
what they did with 18, boys. That's
All
what
right.
they did with 18.
What?
Let's go.
All right. Let's do this real quick. I'm
Wait a
shocked.
Woo!
I'm shocked.
I just want to see the pick 16. It kills the OCD completionist in me that they will not announce these picks.
Why would the Titans trade AJ Brown?
Listen, I don't know if you've seen it on Twitter, Dives. He has not been happy with their front office. And it's funny because the last week or so, he's Instagram story videos of him playing with Jalen Hurts. They've been throwing together. And I always look at that now though and go, oh, these guys are all friends. That don't mean anything. But holy shit. Now, I don't know where you guys stand on it, but I love me some A.J. Brown.
I think it's a really smart move.
The Washington pick is official. It is wide receiver Jahan Dotson.
So do we know what the trade is? This Eagles trade is right here. There we go. Brian's got it up. Gave up 18 and a third for AJ Brown. Seems like a lot, but hey, it's exciting. So AJ Brown is now a Philadelphia Eagle.
Listen, I think I said on with you guys a couple weeks ago that I would be perfectly happy if the Eagles used one of their first-round picks to get a veteran stud wideout to put next to Devontae Smith. That would be a situation that I would be fully on board with. And I guess the third-round pick is a lot, but you do still have a second, third-round pick, so you're still going to have a pick in the third round. You didn't give up your second. You still get 2 picks tomorrow, and out of your first night, right out of your first 2 picks in the first round, you get a defensive tackle that is going to be debated on for a while, and you get a star wide receiver. And A.J. Brown is a legitimate star wide receiver in this league. And now the question is, what are they going to pay him? What are they going to give him? Because that's been the big question with all these wide receivers this year. And when you think about what people have been trading for wide receivers, is a first and a third really a lot when you think about some of the other deals for some of the other guys out there?
Yeah. No, I like this. I'm good. I'm good with that. Like, I think the wide receiver class is pretty good. There's no Jamar Chases. There's no Jalen Waddles. Like, I like everything you just said, Rob. Like, I like the concept of bringing in a vet to pair next to Devontae Smith. I think it's a very smart move.
I don't think it's a lot at all.
The Chargers selected the Chargers selected Zion Johnson out of
Zion. I like that guy a lot.
So now the Titans are going to be on the clock with pick 18 here.
But yeah, the number one need that the Eagles had was a wide receiver, and at this point, the only option really to replace him was Treylon Burks, who maybe is like a poor man's AJ Brown, or he could be Debo and DK. He's got a lot of people you could probably compare him to, but if you're gonna go get maybe a poor man's AJ Brown or a guy you can squint and see AJ Brown, why not go get
AJ Brown?
That's pretty huge.
Like Brian said, we're not talking about a 30-year-old veteran receiver. We're talking about a 24-year-old guy. It's not like he's this super old receiver, right? Like not Julio Jones or something like that. It's A.J. Brown. Man, I tell you what, and I am thrilled with how this night's turned out for the Eagles. I really am. That's a huge move.
I still hate the Davis pick. If it was Kyle Hamilton and then they went and traded for AJ Brown, I don't know what I'd be doing right now. I'd be making a run to a grocery store to pick up alcohol, and I'm not even much of a drinker. Like that would have been Kyle Hamilton and AJ Brown in the same night would have been unbelievable. That's a great move, though.
This is a great move for the Eagles. It's absolutely what they needed for this roster. And Jalen Hurts. Kevin says, "Oh my God, I can't believe it. This is insane. Howie, what a move!"
By the way, they took the Saints third-round pick, the pick 101. So
Nice.
They kept 83. They traded 101. So you still get a third-round pick that's a little bit earlier. You still have 51. And look, give Howie kudos. He said he was going to move around today, and that's what he did. He gets a defensive tackle.
What?
And then he gets a starting wide receiver, a star wide receiver.
Wow.
So I
Trayvon
don't
Burks to Tennessee.
What happened? Traylon Burks to Tennessee.
Trayvon Burks. So they traded the pick for the guy who a lot of people have compared to AJ Brown.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. That's very funny.
Anybody?
The Titans have a type.
So why do the Titans trade AJ Brown again? There was contract issues.
Contract.
He's in the
we're gonna have
last
to
year of
pay
his
him.
deal. He wants a big deal, and he doesn't like being there anymore. So he wanted out. He wasn't going to re-sign with them.
I would say does Ryan Tannehill being there be the issue, but we still have a question mark at quarterback here. But it looks like he has some sort of a relationship off the field with Jalen Hurts. They were, practicing together just this past week. So, I'm wondering if that plays into it. Did Jalen Hurts get us A.J. Brown after all that?
I don't know, man.
Jalen Hurts, the guy who receivers want to come play with, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
All right,
Apparently they're boys. Though my buddy was saying the other day, he was like, they're working together. They're going to trade for AJ Brown. And I was like, all right.
Let's catch up on a few picks here.
I want to watch some highlights of AJ Brown. Let's watch some highlights. Everyone wants to talk about AJ Brown.
All right.
Not Shane. Shane wants to talk about the draft, damn it.
When's the last time the Eagles had a guy to make that catch? T.O.?
Yeah, you're exactly right.
By the way, Chris Paul went 13 for 13 from the field tonight. That's crazy.
Oh my God.
That's insane. He had 29 points, 13 for 13. He's the first player, the most points without missing in a playoff game ever.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what the Eagles needed so badly right here. And it's going to have a trickle-down effect with Quez.
4-year, $100 million extension right away.
So
what?
Right. So, yeah, look, he wanted
guaranteed.
These guys all want these $25 million per year contracts. Okay? And here's what I'm going to say, right? Because you're going to get members of the fan base that are, you gave him too much. You gave him too. Stop it. It's not your money. like you got to stop worrying about how much money the Eagles are spending. They need to put guys on the field that can make plays. And that is what they did here. And now for the next 4 years, you have A.J. Brown, you have Devontae Smith as your top two wide receivers.
That's terrific.
That's tremendous. That's tremendous.
I didn't even know AJ was. Justin says.
Titans. They're showing Titans fans in AJ Brown jerseys on TV at the draft. That's incredible.
I can't believe it.
Vrabel,
I mean, that's
Mike Vrabel said a week ago that he will not be the coach of the Tennessee Titans when AJ Brown is off the roster. Just lie to your face, man. It's crazy.
That's big time.
What a night, Philly. What a night, Philly.
That definitely makes me feel better. They still need to address cornerback. We'll see what happens here in round 2, I guess.
Yeah.
You make that deal. You got to make that deal.
Oh yeah, I don't think there's any question. You still have a third, you still have a second, you still have 2 of your fifths. So I mean, you still have 4 or 5 more picks left.
I think they only have 1 fifth left.
Oh, that's
I think
right.
They traded a 4th and 2 fifths for Davis.
Yes. Yes. All right. And I wouldn't be surprised if they move back at some point and recoup something.
How NFL is it that we all had our eyes and our focus on Deebo Samuel, and we kind of let the Titans talk us into thinking that A.J. Brown wasn't going to get traded? And, of course, Deebo's still on the 49ers, and A.J. Brown gets traded on draft night. It's never what you expect in the NFL.
The Titans are such a weird team. I can't figure out anything. I just can't figure the team out. Are they really good? Are they average? Are they in that NFL purgatory where they're going to be not bad enough to get the high draft pick, but not good enough to win? I don't know where they are.
All right, so how would you grade the Eagles draft? First round, A.J. Brown, Jordan Davis. Go ahead, Mark. How would you grade this day?
C for me, because Davis is like a D- for me. So the trade is probably like an A. But I'd give it a C. C+. I'll be positive. C+. I love the A.J. Brown trade. I mean, they're showing the Treylon Burks breakaway speed play that Shane Haff went a little. I don't know why this is your full name, but you went a little bit viral there for that play, and they're showing how fast it is. They're comparing it to Deebo. Definitely an interesting player with Treylon Burks at 18 at Tennessee. But yeah, I give the Eagles around a C+. Definitely will be important to see what happens in that second round, because like I've already said ad nauseum, like I don't think Jordan Davis filled a need that we had. Receiver, I'm very happy that we filled a need. Like you could say beyond a shadow of a doubt, we don't need receiver anymore. And how long has it been since we could say that out loud, that we don't need a wide receiver? So we don't have to worry about if a rookie's going to translate or how fast it's going to happen or the upside or what it is. We're here now. We have the receiver. So they need to make that second round pick matter, and it needs to be, whether that be a corner, whether that be a safety, whether that be a linebacker, an edge rusher. It's got to be something on. It's got to be it's got to be a defender. They need to get a legitimate defender that can start on next year's defense in the second round, and that will definitely change the way I think about this draft a little bit.
What about you, Shane?
I'll give it an A. I love the Jordan Davis pick. The only thing that knocks that for me is that Kyle Hamilton was there. I love the trade for A.J. Brown here. The worst thing the Eagles can do is get to the end of next year and not be confident in their decision about Jalen Hurts, and you've removed the last excuse there could possibly be. So if the offense is not good this year, it's because of Hurts, and then you know that and you can move on.
What about you, Rob?
Yeah, I'm going to go with an A because, look, you still have 2 first-round picks the next year too. So if the Jalen Hurts thing doesn't work out, you got some ammo to make the move that you need to do. I said a couple weeks ago that I was more on board with using a first-round pick on a veteran wide receiver than necessarily just drafting another wide receiver because of the track record of the Eagles drafting receivers. It's not the best. You know what I mean? So I'd rather use it on a proven guy. That's what they did. I happen to love Jordan Davis. I do go to the idea of the trenches is where you got to build. I think that defensive line needs to continue to be built. I expect an edge rusher in day 2 or 3 from this team. I'm very, very eager to see where they go at 51 tomorrow, because in my opinion, it's the second round picks that I think can make or break how quick of a turnaround you can do. 2 years ago, I don't know how crazy I was about it. I guess the jury's still out. Last year, I wasn't crazy about it at the time, but it looks like they got a guard of the future. I think they got to get a guy who will be on the field a lot for them next season with the second round pick. So tomorrow is a big, big day. Very nice day for Howie today, but you've got to have maybe even a better day tomorrow with your second or third round pick.
Yeah.
All right, let's catch up on a few picks here. So let's skip back to the Chargers taking Zion Johnson. Interior offensive line was a huge need for them. So that's a great pick. Obviously, we talked a little bit about the Titans taking Treylon Burks, who I also really like the fit for. He's a guy that can block, And he's a guy that you can use jet motion with a lot to kind of distract from Derrick Henry. So I really like those picks. For the Titans, I think that trade makes sense. I think it's kind of a win-win for both sides. The Titans are able to trade a guy that they didn't want to have to play the tag game with, and then go get a guy that's going to really complement their offense as well with that pick. So all around good there. And it looks like the Saints pick is in now, but it hasn't been announced yet.
Brian says the Saints are writing down their pick in pen at 19. Is that Kenny Pickett?
Yeah.
Do you think that's Kenny Pickett?
Yeah, I think so. Pick in pen. The pen part outside of the pen.
Pennsylvania from Pittsburgh.
Okay. With these, he really.
The worst part is when you get into like the tail end of the third round and you're scraping the bottom of the barrel for the names.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I give this a solid like B plus. I gave the Jordan Davis selection a C plus. I wouldn't have gone that route, although I'm not upset about that selection. It's just the what could have been with. You get sold on people, you know, when you do this thing. You know, you kind of like you get your guys and you really want to go a certain direction. And I get the fascination of Jordan Davis. I do. He's going to be a huge boost to this team.
Oh, I know who the pick is. All right, it's not Pickett. It's going to be Trevor Penning, the offensive tackle. Out of Iowa.
Nice.
So they needed a wide receiver and an offensive tackle. They don't think they need a quarterback, although we all do. Trevor Penning is the next highest rated guy on our boards. He's 32 on my big board. He was 27 overall on our consensus board. I'm almost positive that's what this pick is going to be.
The first quarterback's got to go next to Pittsburgh, right? Like they have been rumored for so long with Malik Willis, and he's there. You know, he's there. He's there for them to pick. Are we stunned if they don't take him?
Yes,
pretty much.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Although I could see him taking Desmond Ridder as well, but
Get out of here.
There's been a lot of smoke that they really like Desmond Ridder.
Wow.
But I think it'll be Willis.
I tell you what, man. I Dives, what did I text you at I texted you earlier today and said my nerves are friggin' shot, man. I was so nervous with everything that, and it was typical Philly. I just had in mind everything that could go wrong.
100%.
You know what I mean? And it was like, so then I'm watching, I get home, I'm watching the Sixers, and then that third quarter happens, and I'm like, hey, you know what? At least I got one. Two things. And then, like I said, as long as I wasn't, honestly, if it was like Trent McDuffie and Tyler Lindenbaum were the Eagles picks in the first round, that would have been heartbreaking.
Yeah.
When we did the show the other night, guys, there were 8 or 9 guys that I was okay with the Eagles taking in this first round. And they got one of them, and then they traded for A.J. Brown. I think when the dust settles and we get over the Kyle Hamilton disappointment, I think more people will be understanding and happy about this. Mark is tremendous at what he does. I just don't agree with the way I think he's undervaluing Jordan Davis a bit more than anyone should. But hey, only time will tell with that.
I think another take I have here is another reason I might bump it up to a B plus is that we still have a second and third round pick. You know, you made two moves. You traded up and you traded for A.J. Brown, who's a sensational wide receiver, one of the best young receivers in the NFL, a guy that's going to fit really well next to Devontae. And you still have a second round pick. You still have a third round pick. The Eagles are still in play. It's fine. Uh-oh. Do we get our first quarterback off the board?
They're not.
Wow. And it's not Malik Willis.
Is it Ridder?
No. Brian is saying Steelers are picking at 20.
Oh, that's terrible if they're taking Pickett.
Wow. Wait. Were you saying not Pickett? Interesting.
Okay, I didn't think it was going to be Pickett.
Who is it?
It's gonna be Malik or it's gonna be Desmond Ridder, I think. Fun fact, the last time a quarterback didn't go in the top 19 picks was 1997.
No, it is Pickett.
Jim Drunkenmiller went to the 49ers at pick 26.
I disagree with Shane here. I think Pickett's a fantastic pick here at 20, one of the best values of the draft. I think Pittsburgh's getting a guy who can step in and play top 20 quarterback in the NFL next year, and I think Pittsburgh will continue to go to the playoffs. I think they'll get better quarterback play from Kenny Pickett this year if they play him over Mitch than they got last year with Ben by a long shot. So I get why a team like Pittsburgh, who wants to compete right away, takes less of an upside swing maybe. But I also think Kenny Pickett's upside is really high when you look at the fact that in his senior year, I get that he's a little older. He had one of the best years you could have without a lot of talent around him at all at Pittsburgh. No one that's going to get drafted. I love the pick for Pittsburgh. I think he fits perfectly. Obviously, from Pitt, went to Pitt. I think that it fits like a glove. I love this pick for Pittsburgh, and they didn't have to move up to do it. They got to stay at 20. I think it's genius stuff, and it's Kevin Colbert. He wanted to do the same thing that Ozzie Newsome did for Baltimore, picking Lamar Jackson and handing him to the next regime. I think that's what he thinks he's doing here with Pickett. I'm extremely high on him. I have him as my number 7 overall player. So I love the pick here for Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Wait, is it Pickens?
Mark was. Oh, it's not Pickett.
Well, if it's Pickens, I like that too. Oh, it's Pickett. It is Pickett. I don't know what's going on.
What is happening?
You're confusing me. I think it is Pickett.
It's got to be. There's no way they're taking Pickens, right?
It's Pickett. They don't. Yeah, it wouldn't be Pickens. That wouldn't even have made sense. Rufus, stop messing with us.
Hey guys, by the way, AJ Brown was gotten because of the Carson Wentz trade and the trade with the Saints before the draft. I mean, you talk about making moves and then making the best of them. Look, we give Howie Roseman a lot of grief, me more than most. But when he does something good, you got to say, hey, tip my hat to him. And I think 3 moves net you A.J. Brown, a 24-year-old, to put next to Devontae Smith. Excellent.
Okay, the pick is Kenny Pickett. The pick is Kenny Pickett.
That's really exciting, the fact that you finally have a duo of wide receivers here in Philadelphia. Like, when's the last time that happened? Was it D-Jax and Jeremy Maclin?
Yeah, when they probably. And I mean, if you think,
Rufus says it was autocorrect. Autocorrected Pickett to Pickens. Bryant gave us a layup. We missed it. On the actual pick here, we got Leo McGarry, who is a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, says he hates Pickett. I'm not a Pickett guy. I think if you want a pro-ready guy to go in right now, you go with Desmond Ridder. If you want the potential boom guy, you go with Malik Willis. I just don't think Kenny Pickett is impressive at all.
Wow.
I don't think Kenny Pickett's a top 18 quarterback this year if he's the starter for them. I just was not impressed with him when I watched him.
Yeah, where did I put the quarterbacks in this? I didn't have a quarterback in the top 30, I think.
So I had him at 39. You have him at 36. Mark had him at 7. TDN, Draft Network, 33. PFF, 48. The Ringer, 31. So Mark's a lot higher on him than consensus. Mark really liked Pickett. He was on the Pickett train early. That's just a guy that I never got that. I never got it with.
I like Pickett. No, I think he's a really good quarterback, but what are your expectations for Kenny Pickett is the question. I don't know how high of a ceiling he has, truthfully.
I think he's got so much Romo in him, so much Joe Burrow in him. I really do think that.
I'm not that high.
Yeah, I think that there's a ton of Burrow, a ton of Romo to him, especially a late bloomer a little bit in college, the same way Burrow was, the same way Romo was. I think it makes a ton of sense here. I love the pick.
Justin asked, any shot the Eagles move back into the first round? No, I don't think so. They've already traded too many picks.
The
Patriots are trading back.
Okay. You say the Patriots are trading back?
Yeah, which is the most predictable thing of every year.
Okay. Who are any idea who they're trading back with?
No, nothing yet. It's just that they just trade back.
All right.
Yeah, people are joking. Evergreen tweet. You can just tweet New England is moving back, and it'll be right. If you do it beforehand and you retweet it when they're on the clock, it'll be
There's
right.
a trade
back every year.
Hold on, I gotta play this. I gotta share my screen.
They're not telling me what it is, so we're gonna find this out together. Oh my God! Do you see that? Do you see that? AJ Brown? He's trading for AJ Brown. Get out of the way! Get out of the way! Kelsey, sit down. We're looking at this. Big left go. This is big. 18 pick and a third-round pick for one of the best young wide receivers in the NFL.
This is big.
AJ Brown, Jason Kelsey. What is going on right now? What is going on right now?
Dude, Howie Roseman is working that Howie Roseman magic. That's what's going on. He's swindling. He's moving up in the draft to get Jordan Davis. Now he's trading to get an unbelievable receiver. I'm like on Christmas right now.
Jason, remember when Howie was going to sandwich after the Super Bowl and you were like, Howie Roseman was in a hallway closet and now he's out here trading for AJ Brown, Jason. They knew, Jason. They said, we need to bring Jason Kelsey out of retirement. You're not leaving. We're going to pay you $14 million. And now they're giving you AJ Brown, bro. AJ Brown.
Yeah, this is instantly an upgrade for the offense. I mean, I can't tell you how much this is going to make us better. Howie is he's a man on a mission right now, man. He's making things happen, and I'm a big fan.
All right, the Chiefs.
Kelsey.
The Chiefs are on the clock. That's who traded.
Is this Jermaine Johnson?
They got to go receiver, right?
They've got a pretty big need at D-line, too, though. Could this be Jermaine Johnson? And then maybe they think they can get her like a Pickens?
I mean, I'm really surprised Jermaine Johnson has fallen so far. I could also see the Chiefs really liking Trent McDuffie. So I could see McDuffie. I could see Jermaine Johnson. Who would the wide receiver be here, though?
That's what I'm saying. Who's
Pickens?
Christian Watson?
But it's kind of early. I don't think you needed to trade up for Pickens. Here, let me show you. So Pickens is the next highest rated receiver on the board, but he's 37 on the consensus board.
Christian Watson.
Yeah, to me, I would be eyeing Jermaine Johnson here. I think that makes a lot of sense for them.
Booth could make sense too.
Yeah. I'm just really surprised Johnson is still on the board.
Jermaine Johnson is big, by far. Well, him and Malik Willis, I would say, are the biggest fallers so far.
The Chiefs sent 29, 94, and 121 to New England. So the Patriots are at 29 now. So it could make sense here. The Chiefs, if the Chiefs are going wide receiver, it could make sense that they jumped over the Packers to get a wide receiver, because the Packers were almost certain to go wide receiver as well. And there have already been a lot of wide receivers come off of the board. So I could see that being the move that was made here. Didn't expect 6 receivers to be off the board in the top 20 picks. So I'm changing my mind. I think that's what's happening here. I think the Chiefs are coming up to get George Pickens or Christian Watson. I guess whichever guy they want. They might want Watson for the speed threat, but I think that makes sense, trying to get up in front of Green Bay.
I think it'll be a D lineman. I think it'll be like Jermaine Johnson or Devontae Wyatt or George Karlaftis. I still think it'll be a D lineman, because I think that they really need help there. They need help in the secondary too. What if it's Daxton Hill? I don't know. They need help in the secondary. They need help at D line. They need help at receiver. I think those are definitely the 3 areas they have to get 2 picks here from in the first.
And remember, you're talking about Andy Reid as well. And if anybody likes a draft lineman, it's Mr. Reid.
McDuffie.
Is it McDuffie?
McDuffie.
So let me ask you guys, where is the fall happening? Why is the fall happening here for a guy like a Jermaine Johnson?
I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes, it could just be It could just be that there hasn't been the right slot for him. Sometimes there's guys too that fall, and there's stuff we don't know about. I remember Justin Reed when the Justin Reed draft. I wanted him in the first round for the Eagles, and he kept falling and he kept falling, and I think he ended up going like the third round or something like that. Yeah, beginning of the third round, and it came out there were concussion issues the public never knew about. So there can always be stuff like that as well. Hard to tell. If it is something like that, I'm sure we'll know about it in the next, we'll know about it by tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, but I think, well, real quick, Green Bay's got to take a receiver here, right? Before I lose that thought. Green Bay's got to take a receiver here at 22. I don't care what it is. Like, it's got to be Pickens. It's got to be Watson. It's got to be something.
They should maybe they'll watch them take, like, Malik Willis and piss Aaron Rodgers off again.
That'd be so fun.
But Jermaine Johnson, like, it doesn't shock me because this is kind of the range he was in to start the process, I guess.
It was.
And maybe some of that smoke about him moving up, maybe that was just good agenting. Maybe his agent did a good job, or maybe a couple teams that were a little higher that, maybe a team like, you never know, like maybe a team like the Jets was really, really interested in Jermaine Johnson. And it came down to Garrett Wilson and Jermaine Johnson, and then they picked Garrett Wilson. So Jermaine Johnson could have went 10, but then there's not another team that makes sense. Like, it could just be like he been the second choice a couple times. So, it'll be interesting to see if he keeps sliding.
So the Packers are on the clock here. They pick at 22 and 28.
Pick is in right away.
Then again, 53 and 59. I could see a Jermaine Johnson here too. He could still be a guy. They need an edge, but you got to think they're going to take a wide receiver. Although if they don't have a receiver rated this highly, I wouldn't hate Jermaine Johnson here and get a receiver at 28.
That's cool. Pittsburgh's Pat Narduzzi, the coach of Pittsburgh College, tweeted out like a picture one door away. And I guess the practice facility for Pitt is the same practice facility as the Steelers. So he's not moving practice facilities, and he said like basically, I don't know, it's pretty cool. A lot of Pittsburgh people seem to be really, really happy.
No, we are not talking Sixers tonight. Apparently Jaden Springer was great tonight. Steven says, I guess this means Tiago can repost how Glenn Rivers outcoached Nick Nurse and Furkan too. Oh man, I can't wait to watch this game.
Did they do a post game?
No, I don't think so.
Wow. That's funny. I didn't even notice Jaden Springer in the game at the end. Played 2 minutes and got 4 points. That's funny.
I could not stop. I could not do two things at once here. Dan says, I would have preferred Hamilton too, but there's a chance Howie passed over him because he believes there's a good chance of getting Tyrann Mathieu in free agency. So there it is. That would work out pretty well, right, Mark?
Yeah, that'd be great. They better sign him now. Now that you traded up above Baltimore and to let them take the better player than you, you better sign the player at the position that you're linked to, who's definitely the best player available at that position.
I was the hell were we just talking about prior?
I don't know if this is the clue from Brian or he's just letting us know the Packers have made their pick. I'm unsure right now. Packers are to the podium to make their pick at 22.
Somewhere.
While we're waiting on that pick, the Eagles have 4 picks. The Eagles have 4 picks remaining, so they have 51 in the second round, 83 in the 5th round, and then they have a 5th and a 7th left. So, just to keep an eye on the Eagles draft capital there, it was a clue. It's always a clue.
George Pickens. George
Pickens is the pick here. George Pickens was my wide receiver 5. This is the guy that I really like.
Hey, I'm just guessing.
Oh. Well, I won't highlight it.
Quay Walker.
Quay Walker? Get out of here.
And Aaron Rodgers just demanded a trade.
Linebacker.
So this is by far the biggest reach so far in the draft.
The
Quay
Bills
Walker
traded up.
Number 57 on our consensus big board.
Wow.
Not only did they take a linebacker, not a receiver, but they took him over Lloyd and Dean.
and Christian Harris and Chad Muma. This is a big time reach. Wow. It's nuts.
Packers gonna Packer.
And if
The
the
Bills
Bills
just gave up 25 and 130 for 23.
And rest in peace, Brian Michael Jacobs.
This pick 21, pick 22. I can't even remember.
We're on pick 22.
Okay, the Packers are 22.
So if the Bills are trading up, what are the Bills trading for?
Defensive back. I think
Booth,
right? Probably Booth. Kyler Gordon.
Elam.
Yeah. One of the most ridiculous things I've ever done in Vegas. What's that? I think it's the Bellagio, where the fountains are. Is that the Bellagio?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we went for a bachelor party. We had there's a steak joint at the Bellagio with that overlooks the fountains. Most expensive meal of my life. You're talking like almost 10 grand. And you know what? It was a T-bone steak and a pepper on a plate. That's all it was. It was pretty wild, man. That was one of the fanciest dinners I've ever had, man. Ever. It was really good though. Worth it for that amount of money? Probably not. I could probably make a steak that good. Okay, I did not visit the Bunny Ranch, Quentin.
So the Ravens dropped to 25. So the Bills came up 2 spots to get in front of the Cowboys. Thinking about what the Cowboys need, that the Bills also need.
Brian says, "Did you really have a 10?" Yes, I did. $10,000 for it was about 12 of us. So you do the math, but it's pretty wild. That was the move.
They need an interior defensive line.
Devontae Wyatt, yeah. This might be Devontae Wyatt. The Cowboys could also use an interior defensive lineman. I could see the Bills having tried to jump here to get in front of the Cowboys to take Devontae Wyatt.
Ooh, interesting. That sounds right. That just sounds right.
Any way that you can hurt the Cowboys, I'm good with it.
I just want to state again how awful that Trey Walker pick is for the Packers. Like, that's just such a terrible pick, especially with Lloyd and Dean on the board. If you were going to go linebacker, like, that's the linebacker you take. But that's just an unbelievably awful pick by the Packers. Okay, Steve said, are you trading up in the second if Dean is still there within 5 picks of the Birds' second rounder? I don't think so, because the Eagles don't value linebacker that much. They've got bigger needs, and they're down to only having 4 draft picks left. So they've got a second, a third, a fifth, and a seventh. So I think the Eagles are probably pretty solidly out of trade-up range now, unless they're using players to trade up. So you could still maybe move Jalen Reagor. You could maybe move Andre Dillard.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if at least one of those guys goes for a day 3 pick, just to get them another pick, another asset to draft somebody that they can use.
So it looks like, according to Bryant here, the Bills are going to be taking Kaiir Elam, the cornerback out of Florida, which is surprising to me that they would jump there. I guess the Ravens could have potentially taken a cornerback, but if they traded with you, they weren't going to take that guy. And Dallas was not going to take a cornerback, most likely. So that is a little bit of a surprising pick to me. But it looks like the Bills are going to take Kaiir Elam.
I love that selection. I'm a big fan of Kaiir Elam. He has true number 1 cornerback potential. Great closing speed, amazing measurables, great instincts, great size. I think I need to go look at my big boy. I think I was the highest on him among us. I really, really like Kyrie Elam.
So let me.
Where were we at there?
Elam here. I had him at 28. You had him at 16. Mark at 32. He was the consensus number 29 player on our big board. So, and I do like that fit for them. He can fit into that Tre'Davious White type of mold as well. So, I do really like that pick for the Bills. I am a little surprised they traded up, but it probably didn't cost them much to do so.
The shock here is how far does Andrew Booth fall in this draft? Does he fall out of the first round?
I think it's a possibility because I think Kyler Gordon is going to go in the first round, and I'm not sure that two more corners do here.
Interesting. Very interesting.
I know there's a lot of, as much as we like Andrew Booth, I know there's a lot of concerns about injuries with him. So that could be what's kind of pulling him down here.
All right. Pick
Is
number
the
20.
Bills pick official yet? It's Brian official, but is it official?
Brian's the new Facebook.
Steven says Quay Walker is no doubt a heady player, but you could have traded down 10 spots at least and still get him. It's so hard to evaluate Green Bay inside linebackers considering who they played behind. Yeah, if you really liked Quay Walker, you could have taken him at 28. Like, you could have taken somebody else at 22. I would have hated a Quay Walker first round.
Holy shit.
But
Devin Lloyd hasn't been picked yet.
Yeah, they picked him over Lloyd and Dean. That's what's
Holy
crazy.
shit. I didn't just phase me that Quay Walker went over Devin Lloyd.
Yeah.
What are we missing here? What are we missing? That's insane.
The Packers just making silly decisions. All right, the Kyer Elam pick is official. He is the pick at 23. I'm sorry, Brian, that I ever doubted you. And so that's going to put the Cowboys on the clock.
How does that happen?
So the Cowboys are on the clock here. They could use an edge, and Jermaine Johnson is right there for them. They could also use a wide receiver. If they want to go the wide receiver route, they're going to have to be kind of probably reaching here. Christian Watson, Sky Moore, those types of guys. So I don't think wide receiver is probably the route to go here. They could also use a safety, and there's some good safeties on the board and interior offensive line. So
I'll go Linderbaum. I think they're going to go Linderbaum.
Yeah, I think Linderbaum would be a really good pick for them. I'm trying to look at my draft board here.
I think it's a no-brainer.
Didn't they draft that center 2 years ago?
Oh my. I don't.
I remember thinking I would really like the Eagles to grab, and then the Eagles traded back, and Dallas ended up.
Yeah. Who was that? Like the third round?
Yeah.
The Cowboys getting Dean. That'd be so funny if they drafted a linebacker again. So,
well, I mean, where is Parsons? Is he on the defensive line for good now? Like, what is that?
I don't know on that. I think Tyler Linderbaum makes a lot of sense here. I think you either have to go Linderbaum or you got to go Jermaine Johnson. Those have got to be the two most likely picks for the Cowboys.
Yeah, they're definitely going to go in the trenches, no question. Yeah. Linderbaum would make just so much sense for that team. And that'll be a great selection. Linderbaum's terrific. Great prospect. Karlaftis is still on the board. Devin Lloyd is still on the board. Andrew Booth Jr., Jermaine Johnson. There's some great prospects still available here.
Do you want me to hide these guys that have been picked so we can see it all better? Or
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay.
Sorry, my phone died. So I'm back.
I'm going to throw this graphic up here while I do it so you guys don't have to watch me do that.
We have to look at that ugly star.
Forgive me for not having the camera up, but I never ate dinner, so I'm eating my snack. And after about 10 crackers, I was like, I'm just stuffing my face on this live stream right now.
Can we talk about how the Sixers dominated the Toronto?
No, we can't. Just remember when you look at this that star is not a logo. That's a rating. It's a 1 star. So
Shane won't let us talk about it, Dibes.
No,
I know.
Go make your own show. This is an NFL draft show. And I got people behind me here saying yes. I'm gonna pretend they're behind me. They might have said that a long time ago. I don't know. If you guys are here in the comments,
yeah, he wants to hear us talk about the Sixers.
Yes. If you guys are here in the chat, drop some comments here. Let us know what you think the Cowboys are going to do. Give us some questions. We'd love to answer you guys. Talk about NFL-related things that you want to talk about as we wait on the Cowboys to make this selection here at 24. Our best guess is that it's going to be Tyler Linderbaum, the center out of Iowa, would fit a big need for them. But the pick is still not in, so we're just waiting.
I don't know if I'm muted. Oh, I'm not muted. Mike Tomlin said Kenny Pickett will compete to start in 2022 with Mitch Trubisky. Kevin Colbert said that they had him rated much, much higher than the other QBs. I'm with you, Kevin. Me and Kevin out on an island.
So what are our expectations for Jalen Hurts next year with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown? Any quick thoughts?
They just rose.
Yeah, it's put up or shut up time now, right? Like, he's got two weapons there. He's got Dallas Goedert, got an offensive line. You have to show improvement.
The pick is in, but it has not been announced yet.
Yeah, I mean, Shane has said it a lot, but the worst case scenario for this Eagles season is not knowing if Jalen Hurts is the answer or not. Probably the worst case scenario is kind of being where we're at right now, where he's probably not good enough to be the definitive answer and probably not bad enough to be like, oh my God, we have to get off of him right now and adjust the position. So you can't be in that no man's land in the middle next year, especially after adding A.J. Brown and giving him that 4-year deal. It's put up or shut up time, like Rob said, for Jalen Hurts this year. And if it's not, then they're gonna bring in a quarterback next year. And he now is coming into a much more favorable situation if they do go get a quarterback next year, when you have a guy like A.J. Brown locked in for a really long time. And this is what I always say to do. Like, you don't have to go and get the quarterback right now because you don't have it necessarily. If you can build up that roster and keep building it up and get a guy like A.J. Brown, get some defenders. Obviously, some people like Jordan Davis a lot. You get certain players and you build up that roster and you don't worry about quarterback until the roster's ready to worry about quarterback. I always like the idea to kind of try to build up, and getting A.J. Brown is certainly building up and giving Jalen Hurts a legitimate chance. Nobody can complain that Jalen Hurts didn't get a fair shake.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you have any doubt about Jalen Hurts after this season now, then he's not your guy, because he's got two legit receiving options. He's got a really good tight end. He's got a dominant offensive line.
Can I make a stupid comment? Like, I'm excited for the next Eagles quarterback to be throwing to Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. Like, you have amazing skill positions there to go get your quarterback next year with that draft capital, and you can bring in a guy throwing to, A.J. Brown is 24 years old. I don't know how old Devontae Smith is, probably like 22, 23 years old. That's exciting. That's fun.
All right, let's get to a few comments here.
By the way, we have a selection.
Yeah. So let's see. Brian said the Cowboys are playing for the tie instead of the win, which is an odd strategy. I thought that meant Tyler Linderbaum. It does not. It is Tyler Smith, the offensive lineman out of Tulsa.
All right.
Yeah, I'll put a video on Tyler Smith. I like this kid a lot. Tackle prospect with elite foot quickness and big-time upside. Tyler Smith has a violent play style which shines the most in the run game. While his feet are nimble, his footwork is still a little bit raw, and he can struggle to sustain leverage on blocks at times. He's a terrific athlete with solid thickness throughout his frame, good length, and big hands. Explosiveness is the word when it comes to Tyler Smith. Tyler Smith's physical traits, paired with his ability to dominate the run game, as well as his untapped potential, easily makes him one of the more valuable day 2 prospects available. Once he further develops his technique in pass protection, this prospect could be a rising star in the making. I've got a day 2 grade on Tyler Smith, this is one to watch out for. Let's watch some highlights. All right.
So
Tyler
Smith
Smith
is an
actually-
offensive tackle at Tulsa. I think he probably projects better to the interior offensive line at the next level, which is where I think the Cowboys are likely going to try him out. Would probably be on the interior offensive line.
Yeah, he's solid, man. That's a good
he's
pick.
got really high upside too. With his frame and some of his athleticism, I think he's got really high upside. I'm seeing a lot of Eagles fans kind of killing Dallas. I see Jimmy Kempski saying, "And Dallas reached," and people are really kind of crapping on Dallas for this pick. It's the bottom of the first round pick to go and get a guy who I think can probably plug in right away on the interior O-line, who I also think has a lot of untapped potential. I think Dallas made a good pick.
Yeah, I like it too.
He's 43 on our consensus board. Dibes was highest on him at 39. Mark and I both had him at 40, while the other sites were a little bit lower on him, notably PFF. So,
Wait,
Tyler Smith.
What were the rankings again? Hold on.
Mark and I both had him at 40. You had him at 39.
I had 39?
Overall, he was 43 because the other sites were a little lower on him. Notably, PFF had him at 73.
I thought that's actually high. I thought I would be a little higher than that. Interesting.
So now we've got the Ravens are on the clock. They obviously need edge, interior defensive line. They've already taken Kyle Hamilton. They could also use interior offensive line. So this could be a Tyler Linderbaum. It could also be a Devontae Wyatt. It could be a Jermaine Johnson. Those are some of the guys I'd probably look at here for the Ravens. And maybe an outside shot to Andrew Booth because they could use corner as well.
Just like I said, this is going to be one of the best at least round twos in quite some time. Like round two is going to be stacked with great players, man. Great players.
Chris says, hope Tyler has a VHS.
What?
Can you? I don't know if you guys can hear me. Is Pickens still on the board?
Yeah, I think I accidentally took him off though. I'll fix it in just a second.
He makes a lot of sense here.
Yeah. Chris says, I hope Tyler has a VHS player so we can watch the Dallas Super Bowls. Rufus says the Cowboys are going to replace Tyron Smith with Tyler Smith. Kind of funny. Yeah, let me go fix that because I'm pretty sure I accidentally took him off, and I realized it when you said that.
A funny comment here from Kumar Nadir. The Eagles are a fun Madden team at the minute. They definitely are. Jalen Hurts, you can move around with him. He's probably like a high 70s, low 80s, probably high 70s. And then you've got two fun receivers out there. You've got some defensive guys. They're a fun Madden team. Man, if we get Booth in the second round, if we get Andrew Booth in the second round, I apologize for everything I said negatively about High Rosen with the Jordan Davis pick.
Don't give me hope, Mark. Don't give me hope. Like I'm fully expecting Booth to be taken at like pick 50. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not there yet.
By
the way, we have
Booth and Karlaftis.
And we haven't seen any of the safeties go yet either. So that's interesting, right?
Yeah. You got Daxton Hill, Jaquan Brisker, Lewis Seen, all guys that were there. And people said that Lewis Seen, the NFL saw him a lot closer to Kyle Hamilton than the rest of the media did. And that kind of surprised me. And so I kind of thought he might be a first-round pick here, but maybe not.
All right, getting close to the end of the first round. Guys, we'll be back tomorrow night for day 2. I can't wait, man. Day 2s are the best so far.
Got a question. Was A.J. Brown hurt at all last year? He played 13 games last year, so he missed 3 games. It was the first season of his career that he did not get 1,000 yards. He had 869. So he did miss 3 games last year.
But the beginning of the year, before that injury, he was. I mean, he's a big body receiver. He could do so many things. I'm so excited to see a guy like him in an Eagles uniform.
It was a chest injury in late November, and then he had a calf. He pulled his calf muscle in week 17. The Ravens pick is in, but we don't know what it is yet.
By the way, A.J. Brown's used to playing with a quarterback who doesn't necessarily give it to him exactly on time and at the right spot. Ryan Tannehill, kind of a bum. So, yeah. Jalen Hurts isn't that much worse than Ryan Tannehill. So, it's not like Ryan Tannehill. It's not like A.J. Brown is taking a precipitous drop in terms of QB talent. Actually,
The
that's a
Ravens
question
are
for
getting
Shane.
Limber at 25.
Limber.
Yeah, I think so, right? I don't know what else it could be.
Is it
Shane,
Linder?
that's a good question for you, though, Shane. How much worse is Jalen Hurts than Ryan Tannehill right now?
That is a good
As
question.
a thrower.
As a thrower, I haven't watched a ton of Ryan Tannehill last year. I would say, I mean, he's probably at least a step or two behind Tannehill in terms of a thrower, but I would say his running ability balances that out. Of course, the Eagles don't have, if you're comparing offenses, the Eagles don't have Derrick Henry to hand the ball off to either. So I would say that A.J. Brown's probably coming to a worse offense, but have a chance to put up better numbers because it's not going to be as hand the ball to Derrick Henry heavy.
That's true. That's a great point. I think, and a lot of what A.J. Brown did with Tannehill, everything Tennessee does is based in play action. So with what we were doing last year, running the ball so much, it would make a ton of sense for us to kind of, run a lot of that and try to get him free deep on play action. But obviously there's some concerns that's on.
The pick is officially Tyler Linderbaum, the center out of Iowa, to the Ravens.
For Baltimore, right?
Okay. To Baltimore, and that's going to put the Titans on the clock at 26.
The Jets are now on the clock. They traded with the Titans.
Okay, the Jets are on the clock at 26. So the Jets are going to make 3 first-round picks.
Wow.
That's not shocking. I wonder what they gave up because I know that they have multiple second-rounders. So they took they took Sauce and they took a wide receiver. So it's got to be Jermaine Johnson, right?
Yeah. So here's the thing: the Jets were rumored, like it was the thought process that they might take Jermaine Johnson at 10, and so if they get Jermaine Johnson at 26, they're going to be thrilled, and I think that's what's going to be the pick here.
And that's exactly what I said. Like when we were talking about like why is Jermaine Johnson falling, and I was like, oh, maybe he was just the guy at 10, and they didn't expect to see Garrett Wilson. And if that's what they do, then that's probably what happened. They might have assumed Garrett Wilson was going 8, and maybe they would have taken Johnson if that was the case. But wow, if the Jets trade up here and are able to get Sauce, Johnson, and a solid receiver in the same class, like that's something.
Yeah, Jets are winning here. Jets are winning. Steven, real quick on the comments. Steven says A.J. Brown fits our weak spots on offense. K-Car Old Crew says, would you say A.J. might have a bit more upside given he is coming from a run-oriented offense?
No, because the Eagles attempted 100 less passes last year than the Titans did.
Okay.
The Titans attempted 500 plus passes. The Eagles were in the low 400s. It was like 530 to 420 or something. So I would not say he's coming to a less run-heavy offense.
Steven says, we need another end zone threat. We had issues in the red zone. Did we? Were we that? Like, I need to look back at that. I don't remember us being a bad red zone team. I need to look into that. I could be wrong.
They were pretty good.
I thought they were generally okay.
Lamar Jackson's tweet 1 minute ago. WTF.
What? Get out of here.
Yeah,
he's probably pissed. I feel for Lamar Jackson. He's never played with a good receiver, and he probably thinks Hollywood Brown's good because he's never played with a good receiver. So he's like, this guy's the best one I've ever played with. Then you trade him and get him a center. I'd probably be upset too. This dude's never had a legitimate wide receiver in the NFL. It's a shame. But yeah, he's a running back. Jets get Jermaine Johnson.
Yep, that's a great pick. That's a great job by the Jets there.
I would have preferred Karlaftis, but I mean, at this point, it's an absolute value. I think he's probably got to be one of my top 5 remaining players available. But Johnson's definitely has really, really high upside.
Yeah, if this isn't a defensive back for the Tampa Bay Bucks, I'd be so shocked.
They could definitely go interior offensive line. I just don't know that there's one available.
Yeah, with Green, Linderbaum, and Zion Johnson all off the board. I don't think anyone would have thought all three of those guys would be off the board by the time Tampa Bay came on the block. But yeah, I think Andrew Booth would make a lot of sense here. I think Daxton Hill would make a lot of sense here.
So pretty funny back and forth on Twitter with Titan safety Kevin Byard and a fan. You know, he tweeted out before the draft. This is all like 3 hours ago. He tweets out, you know, Titans fans, what's your predictions for tonight? And one guy said, we trade for Debo. And Byard responded, now, why would we go and do that? We already have our wide receiver one. Well, Kevin, no, you don't.
Yeah, it's Treylon Burks.
Yeah.
Man, I was in Nashville for a bachelor party. And that is a sad fan base, man. That is a very sad fan base.
Great town to party in, though.
Oh, amazing
Great
town.
party town.
Great people.
Yeah,
but they are so, like, you think Philly fans are pessimistic about their football team?
Oh, yeah.
The Titan fans are like, yeah, they'll just like F it up at some point. Like, they're pretty down on their Titans.
Hey, Mark, I got a question for you.
What's up?
The Ravens are more of a power running team than a zone running team, right?
Yes.
I thought that was right. I'm a little – so Linderbaum's elite center prospect, but he's going to be a lot more of a zone running scheme guy. I'm not sure he's the best scheme fit for the Ravens, even though they needed that interior offensive line help. What do you think? Have you thought about that at all?
He feels tiny for what they want to do, right? Am I wrong to say that?
No. I mean, he is. He's smart. He's the – Jason Kelsey's a great comp for him, and you wouldn't want Jason Kelsey in a power rushing attack. And I didn't really think of that when the pick rolled in, but somebody asked if that was a good scheme fit on Twitter, and I was like, I don't really know that it is.
Jacksonville moves up here. Jacksonville's back into the first round here.
Okay.
Oh my God, the Packers traded out so they didn't take a receiver.
Are you kidding me?
You know what? No, I wonder.
The drought continues.
I wonder if they
look
look
at 27, right? Did we miss that one, or are they still waiting?
Oh, maybe that's what it is. Maybe they did trade for 27 for some reason.
Yeah, Green Bay's still. Yeah, Green Bay's below Jacksonville right now.
Yep, you're right. That's my mistake.
So the Jags just traded to 27.
They traded with, it looks like, Tampa Bay. Because Tampa Bay now it's got the first pick in round 2, so they must have made a deal with the Bucs. Is Jacksonville? So Jacksonville drafted the edge rusher.
So yeah, the Jaguars already took Trayvon Walker. Maybe they should take George Karlaftis here, so they walk out of the first round with a pass rusher that knows how to rush the passer.
Did they go to the interior? Did they go Wyatt?
Could be, yeah. You could look at Devontae Wyatt here, maybe a safety, but I wouldn't see moving up for a safety here. They're falling. There's going to be a safety there for you.
Right.
I would say Devontae Wyatt. Maybe you could be looking at. Is there any? You wouldn't need to trade up for Bernard Raymond on the offensive line. That'd be my guess. I would guess.
There's no offensive lineman there.
Yeah.
Maybe they feel like they have to because everything's going. I don't know. This is interesting. I don't know why they've been trading up here.
If we pull it, and we know Doug Peterson wanted Ike Ekwonu, and so maybe you're looking at an offensive lineman here, and there is a big drop. Bernard Raymond was our consensus number 40. I was highest on him at 38, and then it drops all the way off to 69. So there is a big drop off there. You could be potentially looking at an offensive tackle. So Bernard Raymond or Devontae Wyatt would be my guess. It would be a little hard to see them investing 2 first-round picks on the defensive line, but you never know. So,
and Doug Peterson does come from that Andy Reid tree. The trenches are going to be important for their rebuild. So,
I really wonder how much say he has. I just can't imagine Doug would have been in for the Trayvon Walker pick. It's just, I'm still upset about it. I want Doug Peterson to succeed in Jacksonville. Like I hope he
I'm always going to root for that guy. So I like Trevor Lawrence too. So I'm rooting for them to work it out there. And I really hate what they did at one. So hopefully they at least get a guy to make me feel a little bit better about that. Maybe a Devin Lloyd, maybe an Andrew Booth and a Kobe Dean. It'd be awesome. So.
Benjamin Solak just tweeted the Titans and the Bucks both trading out of the first round. I doubt we see any more quarterbacks go tonight.
I wonder if Detroit would change that at 32 if they'll look at a quarterback.
Detroit's not at 32 though. They traded that pick to the Vikings when they moved up to 12.
Good call.
So yeah, I mean, so Jags aren't going quarterback. The Packers aren't. No team that is left is going quarterback. It would all be if somebody moves up.
Vikings? Do the Vikings go quarterback?
Mm-hmm. Let me check on the Kirk Cousins contract.
No, yeah, it's definitely prohibited.
Oh, he signed a 1-year, $35 million extension. So technically, technically, he's under contract through the end of next season. So they've got him for 2 years. So if they took one, they'd be committing to sit him for 2 years.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm happy I didn't get to New Jersey today to make my bets because I definitely would have bet over 2.5 quarterbacks going in the first round.
Yeah. We've got a comment coming in from YouTube. I wish I'd tuned into this live stream earlier. You all are infinitely more entertaining than the NFL Network. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. We've been working on this stuff for several months, trying to get it all put together. And we will be back here live tomorrow night at 6 o'clock my time, 7 o'clock Eastern, covering rounds 2 and 3. So be sure you come join in. We'll talk about whoever your team is. Throw questions in the chat. We love to do that. We'll also have videos coming out tomorrow throughout the day on YouTube, top prospects available, things like that. So be sure you keep it tuned in here to the Painted Lines, and definitely check back tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. What?
Devin Lloyd off the board here? Right?
That's what the Jaguars did?
I don't know. Brian's saying Jags with a beautiful pick here at 27.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't understand that, but
Utah.
Yeah. Okay.
I can't believe Devin Lloyd is still on the board, man. I'm blown away.
I can dig that pick for them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. Doug Peterson showed he actually liked linebackers, unlike the Eagles.
Yeah. All he had to do was go to Jacksonville to get a linebacker.
Yeah, he just had to go somewhere where they actually valued a linebacker.
Rob, did you hear that audio clip I sent in Discord of a podcast talking about the Eagles taking linebackers? You gotta go check it out. It's like a 20-second clip. I posted it the other day. I'll tag you in it.
All right.
Quinn said, the Eagles. Oh, go ahead, Mark.
The Jags just got a better player at number 27 than they got at number 1.
That's very true.
Quinn says, will the Eagles stick with their picks or trade back? I don't think they're trading at all.
I think they stick with these picks. I would not be surprised if they had another one, a day 3 pick for, trading one of those Andre Dillards, something like that. I would not be surprised at all if they do that. Just to add a 5th pick, and then this way, they come out with 6 draft picks and A.J. Brown. We'll see that.
Look, Shane has the board right there. I mean, a bunch of safeties are still there. George Karlaftis, Andrew Booth, Nakobe Dean. There's a lot of really good players at top of this round 2 that are going to be available. They probably won't trade up. Roger McCreary, I really like there.
A lot of people talked about him being the corner they go to in the second round if he could stick around the 51.
He's a good player, man. So there are some very solid prospects in round 2. I'm hopeful they go corner. I don't know about that. I mean, a Jabo, I could probably get around with it. I'll be okay with it. I'm not very high on
Roger McCreary is literally 0th percentile arm length. There's no way the Eagles are taking him with Avonte Maddox already on the roster.
Eagles love themselves a wingspan. They do.
0th percentile. That guy cannot play outside.
So I only have 7 first rounders available at this point. I gave out 25 first round grades going into the draft, and we have 7 of them available with Karlaftis, Booth, Dean, Hill, Brisker, Pickens, and Ojabo. Those are my 7 best players remaining.
Ugh.
You know, I look at the amount of safeties that are left, and I don't know. I mean, do the Eagles see? It's curious to me, because are they at this point playing to sign a honey badger, or are they?
I can tell you right now, the Eagles could have drafted Kyle Hamilton and still signed the honey badger because they have 0 starting safeties on their roster.
I agree.
No, it sounds like Tyrann Mathieu is going to do.
So the Patriots are on the clock here now. They traded back already once. What are we thinking here? They could go. I would imagine Devin Lloyd is a player that they honestly would have loved, and they're probably upset that he went off the board right here. This could be the landing spot for Andrew Booth or Kyler Gordon. Could maybe be in could maybe be in a Kobe Dean spot.
Give me Kyler Gordon here for the Patriots.
Could be a George Pickens spot as well.
I'm going to say Kobe Dean, since everyone seemed so gung-ho about them taking a linebacker to replace Hightower. I think I'll go with Kobe Dean, because I thought it would be Devin Lloyd.
So my top guys remaining on my board, George Karlaftis, who I had at number 9 on my big board, Andrew Booth, who I had at 15 on my big board, Malik Willis, who was at 20, Daxton Hill and Jaquan Brisker at 22 and 23, David Ojabo at 24, Nakobe Dean at 25, and George Pickens at 26. So I got a run of players there in a row that apparently nobody in the NFL likes, but I really like. Would love to get some of these guys in the second round. Looks like Dibe's top players left available. Andrew Booth, Karlaftis, Brisker, Dean, Petrie, Devontae Wyatt. Devontae Wyatt's a guy that I kind of thought he might fall out of the first round with some of the off-the-field stuff that's been alleged against him, all that stuff that's happened here. So we'll see.
Oh, there it is.
The Packers are on the clock. I was talking about the Patriots, but the Packers are the ones on the clock.
We have a clue. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
And they're not going wide receiver.
Packers go 2 defensive players.
Aaron Rodgers is going to be so pissed, as he should be.
I mean, to be fair, do they have a second-round pick?
Yeah, they've got 2 of them.
So the way the board's falling, there should be some good ones still available. But yeah, it's definitely shocking. Definitely shocking.
They traded his wide receiver, and then they used the picks to draft 2 defensive players.
All right, guys, I'm getting pretty tired here.
I was actually going to say I'm going to sign off. I got a closing in the morning, so I got to get my mind right for that. But I'm going to try. I may not be able to be on the whole time with you tomorrow night, but I'm going to try and hop back on for a little bit. Was then.
Sounds good, man.
Sounds good, man. Have a good evening.
You too, guys.
See you, man. Steven says praying David Ojabo or Daxton Hill falls to the Eagles. That'd be amazing.
I would love to take Ojabo.
That'd be amazing. Sign me up.
I do feel like, I don't know, I'm a little less wanting to get an edge rusher since they took a defensive lineman, but I get that they have no correlation. But do you think Milton Williams plays outside at all going forward?
Do you think who?
Milton Williams. Do you think they bounce him outside at all so that they didn't waste a day 2 pick last year?
I think they will some. They did some last year. I think they also like him inside, and I think they probably kind of view him as that second defensive tackle long term.
Well, good thing we're paying about $33 million to 2 other defensive tackles this year. So.
Yeah. Okay, so now the Patriots are going to be on the clock. and I don't think it really changes anything here. I think Nakobe Dean is probably going to be a good pick here for them, or maybe Booth or Kyler Gordon at cornerback.
Karlaftis does feel like a Patriot too. If Taylor feels like a Patriot, Karlaftis definitely feels like I could view him in those jerseys.
Yeah, that's true.
Again, do you just want to? I don't know. While we're waiting, do you want to run down the just the draft, I guess, real quick, and we can do like a quick grade on each pick, maybe. Maybe that's just a fun little thing to do.
Yeah. Give me just a second, and I'll switch it over.
I'll try to think because we're getting to the dead spot here a little bit.
Okay, so Jaguars, Trayvon Walker, number 1 overall. I give it an F.
I also give it an
F. I'm sorry. When you get a chance, do you guys know who Vin Fosh is?
Yeah, of course we know who Vin Fosh is.
Mark, go read his timeline.
He's the Vinsider.
He gets like every single tweet about the Eagles wrong. It's really good. All right, sorry. What were we doing?
Insider, baby.
We're doing quick grades. Mark and I both gave Walker an F.
Oh, it's a D. Yeah, I'll go D. I like Trey Walker more than you guys, but that's an embarrassment. That should never have happened.
Okay, Hutchinson at 2 to the Lions. I'll give it a B-.
B. I'm good with it.
I'll give it an A-. I like the hometown boy angle.
All right, Derek Stingley Jr. at number 3 to the Texans. I'll give it a B.
B sounds good. I think he's a top 5 talent. Major question marks, but I kind of think he's going to thrive there in Houston.
I'll say C only because of Sauce, but yeah, I like it. C+, B- in that range.
Just right now, there is somebody on Twitter that really likes Treylon Burks, and they keep quoting my tweet in a ton of different chats where people are criticizing that pick. They've done it like 8 times now. Okay, Sauce Gardner 4 to the Jets. I'm going to give that an A.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, it's an A. Yeah.
Giants, Kayvon Thibodeau at 5, A+.
It's an F.
Totally agree.
It's an F as an Eagles.
All right, let's pause there and we'll come back to it. Bryant says the Pats.
Cole Strange!
Strange pick. Here
that is
Cole Strange!
That's so Cole. It's unbelievable.
I love this. By the way, I love
Cole Strange is number 89 on my big board. He was 50 on Dives. Dives was the highest on him. He's 78 on our consensus big board.
Cole Strange. I told you guys about this guy many times. This is one of my favorite day 2 guys. I think him and Jeff Stoutland would be amazing, but amazing athleticism. Needs to build his strength up. But I think one of the fun prospects in this draft. That is again one of the biggest reaches of the first round, no question.
That will be the worst pick of the first round.
I like Cole Strange. I think he's gonna be good, man. I think he's gonna be good.
Not at 29. No, not on board with that one. Let's get back here. Steven said Ajabo is more of a project than people think. He's not automatic. Absolutely true. 1-year starter. He was a convert. He was coming in with a lot of raw athleticism and traits, similar to Trayvon Walker, although he actually knows how to rush the passer. That's why I said that injury for him is so devastating, because he's going to miss his whole first rookie offseason, which is going to be huge for a guy that really still is learning how to rush the passer. And so if you're taking Ajabo, you're not anticipating a contribution from him in his first year, which is where he makes a lot of sense, in my opinion, to a team like the Eagles that's not looking to compete next year. A guy that you can develop, you can kind of – I don't even want to use the name because – then people won't want him. But similar to the idea behind Sidney Jones is that you were going to redshirt him his first year, work with him, and then try to hit the ground running his second year. I think that would be the plan for any team that takes Ajabo.
Just saying, I predicted Penning to the Saints, Elam to the Bills, and Wyatt to the Packers in my mock today.
So I'm feeling pretty good. Did an okay mock draft. I think that's.
I need to look through that and see what I missed on.
I know that they say like if you get like 6 to 8 in a draft year that's pretty unpredictable, then it's like pretty good generally. So I think I'm at 5 right now. I don't know. I have to look up.
So the Chiefs are on the clock right now. They've already taken Trent McDuffie. Like this feels like this is going to be George Pickens, right?
Yeah, I mean it could be Sky. It could be Sky Moore. People really like him. It could be Christian Watson. People really like him. In my mock, I had this being Christian Watson, I believe. So I'm rooting for that. That'd be the best outcome.
Where are we at? The Chiefs?
Yeah. Chiefs.
How about Daniel Falele? Daniel Falele, one of the biggest players in this draft. Bottom of the first round. Let's go.
How about what? I guess they drafted a corner, so I don't think I'll go safety. But they did lose Honey Badger, so they definitely still need a safety. Would be interesting to see if they took Daxton Hill.
All right, you want to keep going with pick number 6?
Yeah, let's do it. So pick number 6, the Panthers took Ike Ekwonu, offensive tackle. I'm going to give that an A.
It's an A. I love Ike Ekwonu. I definitely had him lower than Evan Neal, but for me, I had Evan Neal as a top 5 pick, and that's not a knock on Icky. I think Icky is going to do great in Carolina.
I'll give it a C. I'll give it a C.
Steven says, who is Cole Strange? Maybe the GM must have misunderstood the owner about wanting some Strange. Yeah, he's a guy that Dibes was highest on him, had him at 50. He was 79 overall on our consensus big board.
Oh, I had a video ready for him for tomorrow, for sure. And I told you guys, like, there's several interior offensive linemen I think Howie would love. And I think Cole Strange was really high on that list. Very versatile, can play anywhere on that interior. But I think that's the biggest reach easily. But that doesn't make Cole Strange not a good prospect. Obviously you saw the big board. I think Cole Strange is a player.
Bill Belichick drafting an interior offensive lineman from Chattanooga in the first round is the most on-brand thing I've ever heard of in my life.
So
that's commitment to the bit.
A guy from Football Outsider said the Patriots do not care about where other teams might take players, and Seth Walder from ESPN quote tweeted that and said that is not a good trait for a team.
It's not. It really isn't. It's funny because a really good article.
Oh no! Mark, read that.
They're laughing. Is that a situation? By the way, if the Chiefs get George Karlaftis at 30, I continue to be a Chiefs guy here. Like, if that's the case, is that official?
I don't know.
I think so. I mean, it's not official, but the Patriots pick I don't think is official yet, to be honest. But
I don't see it yet.
Strange, he was like Chattanooga or something like that.
I can't even tell you what conference.
Tennessee, Chattanooga.
I will say I'm way more excited for Doctor Strange, which comes out in a month from now.
That's the Southern Conference. It is FCS for football.
If Shane is shutting down Sixers talk, I might have to come down in here and shut down Marvel talk. I'm joking. I like Marvel. I'm not crazy about it anymore. I kind of like the last phase. I feel like I phased out when the last phase ended.
Yeah, they peaked a little bit.
Yeah. But I'm sure the new stuff's awesome. They do an incredible job.
Have you watched Moon Knight yet?
No, I really haven't seen a superhero thing outside of the Batman in a long time now. I guess Spider-Man too. But yeah, I'm definitely behind.
The only reason why I say that is because if you're like not for the superhero thing, Moon Knight, like you would never know it's a Marvel project. it's more of a character study about trauma, childhood trauma. If you're like,
I heard good things about it. Yeah.
It's very divisive because it's not like your typical superhero Marvel project. It's super dark.
That's kind of like the whole DC plan of everything, right? Like dark,
yeah.
Marvel match them, I guess, with a dark music. So, yeah.
Where were we at? We were at number 7 now.
Yeah, here's some Twitter reactions from the Strange pick. I got a what in the world, an F-, a way too high for him, and a what are they thinking? So Twitter reacts to the Cole Strange pick. Okay, we are at Evan Neal for the Giants. I'm also going to give that an A. He was my offensive tackle 1. Giants get him at 7. Big need.
Sorry, were we at Evan Neal? Terrific. A.
I think that everyone's going to focus on the Jets, and everyone's going to say the Jets won the draft, and I like what they did. I think Jermaine Johnson at 26 is awesome. I love Sauce. Kayvon Thibodeau. And this is just like masterclass stuff by the Giants, and this is what I was worried about. Like, we are now having to deal with the New York Giants team that has competence in the front office. For a long time, they did not with Dave Gettleman. So the fact that they knew at number 5, you have both offensive tackles that are assumed to be the top 2 available on the board. You can go and get Kayvon Thibodeau at number 5, knowing you're going to get one of those 2 guys at 7. Like, that's just great. That's working the board, and getting probably the top 2 best player in this class, in my opinion, in Kayvon Thibodeau at number 5. That's an A++++. And then Evan Neal, I'll give an A.
All right, moving on to the Falcons, taking wide receiver Drake London. What do we think about that one?
I'll give this one a B+. He was number 1 wide receiver on my board. Definitely makes me feel better for how I made that ranking, like literally in January as with Drake London. So for me, it's a B+.
Yeah, I'll give it an A-. I would have drafted Jameson Williams if I was them, but they definitely needed a wide receiver. And especially since they're at the beginning of a rebuild, I think going with a guy with an upside as high as Williams would have been a better move. But London has a plenty high upside, so I'm not gonna put him down there. He could turn out to be a Mike Evans, Mike Williams type of player. So I totally get where they were going with that number 8 pick. A-.
I'm gonna give it like a B-. I like the position. I don't like the player they took in that slot. I would have rather seen him take Jameson Williams. So, but let's flip over here. The Bengals are on the clock. They could use a cornerback, because Eli Apple is a guy that's on their team that still plays, and that's really not okay. Maybe an Andrew Booth spot, maybe a Kyler Gordon spot. What do you guys think?
I mocked them. Yeah, I mocked them Kyler Gordon earlier on today. So I very much think that it makes a ton of sense. They're going to go corner here. I don't see the interior O-lineman that would make sense. They're not going to take a tight end. Trey McBride would be a little bit of a reach here. But I think they'll go with a corner, and I think it'll be Kyler Gordon.
All right. Oh, and it looks like Steven says, later, best day in Philly sports in a while. See you later. Thanks for tuning in. Hope we see you tomorrow. Same to you, Quentin. We'll see you guys later. Brian.
Daxton Hill. Daxton.
Going to take Daxton Hill, which is also a pick I like, because DaxtonLl can also drop down into the slot.
Yeah. I was muted. I was guessing David Ajabo for Cincinnati.
Lamar Jackson just tweeted, "It's not about my new center." Eye roll emoji. Stop that. So it's basically just that he's upset that they traded Hollywood, which is that's understandable.
Or his agent was like, "Yo, retract that." I mean, if you're the franchise quarterback for an NFL team, you can't tweet stuff like that on draft night. They know that.
I get it, but I said my piece with Lamar because I've been complaining for 4 years about the way that the Ravens have treated the wide receiver position, and I'm sure that Lamar is definitely getting tired of hearing about people talking about how bad his throwing is. when he probably knows that he has had not a lot of help. But I get it. You can't do that. But like I always say about Lamar, he's a different kind of cat. Lamar Jackson. He's his own person.
So the Vikings are up here at 32. They did not get a cornerback earlier. So again, we keep talking about these cornerbacks, but there are cornerbacks here to be had. There are also safeties. Could we also see a team trade up here to get a quarterback, to get a Malik Willis or to get a Desmond Ridder on a potential fifth-year option? So I think those are the two things to look at here. The Vikings either taking a corner or trading that pick to someone that wants a quarterback.
I don't know. Wouldn't you rather wait and hope that Malik falls to the second round?
Nah, if you believe in a quarterback, you want him on that fifth-year option. So if you're a team that is at 33 to 40-ish and you want one of those guys, it makes a lot of sense to go up to 32 and get him just to secure that fifth-year option.
I think Andrew Booth I think Booth would make a lot of sense here if they felt like they could drop back all the way from 16 to 32 and pick up, or 12 to 32 actually. So I think Booth would make a lot of sense. But I checked out for 1 second. Did you just say Malik Willis? Someone would trade up for Malik Willis? Is that what you suggested there?
Yeah, I was saying I think it either comes down to the Vikings taking Andrew Booth or Kyler Gordon, or you get a team that's in the high second that wants to jump up and get a quarterback to get that fifth-year option.
Yeah, I think they could do it. Why not? The Vikings should take Malik Willis. That would be awesome.
They're tied into Kirk Cousins for mega money for the next 2 years, but they could potentially do it. So teams at the top of the second round, you've got Tampa Bay 33, the Vikings 34, the Titans at 35. Titans could be a potential maybe. Giants are at 36, Texans at 37, Jets 38, Bears 39, Seahawks 40 and 41. So maybe the Seahawks would want to come up and get a guy. They've got picks 40 and 41, but really the Titans and the Seahawks are the only teams kind of in striking distance there to move up easily.
I'm going to say Andrew Booth makes sense for the Vikings, but I will say my guess, I'm going to go for a player that I really like, and I'm hoping they're not taking Andrew Booth Jr., is Jaquan Brisker to the Minnesota Vikings.
I really want Brisker tomorrow.
Cody says he's beyond pissed. What's up, Cody? What are you upset about?
He doesn't. He's a Patriots fan. So what? Who did the Patriots take?
Okay, they took the Cole Strange.
Oh,
So I'm sorry. I apologize. That I can't put a spin on that one for you that makes it good. I'm sorry. I try my best for all of our fans, all our viewers, but I honestly can't put a spin on that one. He was 89 on my big board. So,
all right. Should we keep running through the first round? Because I need to go to bed.
Yeah, let's do it. So we are on Charles Cross at 9 to the Seahawks. That's an A for me.
A, one of the best pass protectors in this draft.
Mark, you still there? Did you fall asleep?
I lost you there for a second.
Okay, grade Charles Cross to the Seahawks at 9 for me.
Oh, D. For them to, I think that they needed to go and get a guy who could be, I don't know. I'm anti-drafting an offensive tackle when you don't have a quarterback to protect. I think that's where I'm at with high first-round picks. The Seahawks, I don't know. Is that a rebuilding pick or is that like a compete pick? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to give it an A. I think it's a really good pass blocker, and I think they needed an offensive tackle pretty badly. So it's one of those premium positions. So if they don't like one of the quarterbacks, I like that there. Jets wide receiver Garrett Wilson at 10. I'm going to give that one like a C. C minus. I was not high on Garrett Wilson. I'm not a big Garrett Wilson guy.
I'll go B minus.
And I'll go. I'll say C, because I had him in the 20s. I still had him as a first-round pick, but There's about 5 receivers that went after him, or 4 receivers that went after him that I like a little bit more. So, yeah. Vikings headed to the cinema to close out the night. Cinema.
Is that Lewis Scene?
Yeah, that's good. Good.
How about Jaquan Brisker still on the board in the second round? I like that.
Malik Willis. Yeah, dude. David Ojabo. Wow.
All right, where are we at?
All right, fellas. I'm gonna hop off real quick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hop out of here. I'll definitely be on tomorrow. So I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
All right, see ya. All right, so we're at Olave to the Saints at 11.
Yeah, I think that's
the rest of these.
Yeah, real quick. I think that's a really good pick for them. I think that definitely fits their system. I think that's a guy they circled on their board for a long time now. So, and they got him.
Yeah, I'm gonna give that a solid A. That's a good pickup by them. Lions at number 12, Jamison Williams also gets an A for me. He was a number 2 receiver on my board. I love that pickup.
Same, number 2 guy for me. I would have taken him over Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave.
All right. At 13, the Eagles getting interior defensive lineman Jordan Davis. I'm going to give that one a B+.
I'm C+ because of who was there. That doesn't mean I'm not excited about Jordan Davis. Much more excited about A.J. Brown, which we'll get to in a second, but C+.
All right. Ravens at 14, Kyle Hamilton. That's an A+++.
Retweet.
Yeah. All right. Texans at 15, Kenyon Green. I'm going to give that like a B-. I think he's a good interior offensive lineman. I don't know if that's a rebuilding piece, a cornerstone piece there, but I'll give it like a B-.
I like Kenyon Green a lot. He was my number 3 interior offensive lineman. A little high, a little rich for my blood. B- sounds good.
The Commanders taking Jahan Dotson. I'm going to give that a D. I thought that was a really big reach for a wide receiver there.
Major reach. Over Treylon Burks, over George Pickens. Major reach from the Commanders. D-.
All right. At 17, the Chargers taking Zion Johnson. I'm going to give that one a B+. Fit a big need for them. I think Johnson's a pretty good player.
Here's my number 2 interior offensive lineman. He's a beast. He's an animal. Plays with a nastiness. I love that kid. I'll go A-.
Treylon Burks at 18 to the Titans. Not only was he my wide receiver 1, I think he's a perfect fit for what they want to do. That gets an A from me.
Great player. Straight A. For the Eagles, also an A for adding a veteran at that position, which was a major position of need. A's all around.
All right. The Saints at 19 selecting Trevor Penning, the offensive tackle. I'm going to give that like a B. They had to. They needed an offensive tackle. He was the best guy available. Not thrilled about that slotting, but they were kind of pigeonholed there.
Yeah, Trevor Penning's another high riser through the draft process, Senior Bowl, Combine. What's interesting about him is he has versatility at that size to play anywhere, which is really intriguing. So I give that an A-.
All right, at 20, the Steelers, Kenny Pickett. I'm going to give them like a B-. Pickett was my QB3. If that was their guy, that's great. They didn't have to trade up to go get him, so that helps, but not the guy that I would have taken there.
I'll give that a B. Kenny Pickett. I'm losing my voice here. I don't know how much time. I have to get some water. Kenny Pickett is my quarterback too. He's a win-now quarterback. High floor, low ceiling compared to Malik Willis, but I still think he's a solid quarterback, fringe starter moving forward. I'll be right back. I need some water.
Okay. So that brings us to Trent McDuffie to the Chiefs at 21. I'm going to give that an A. I really liked Trent McDuffie, and at that spot, I think it's a great value. It fits a big need for the Chiefs. So I'm going to check in on the Vikings here. The pick is in. It still hasn't officially been announced. We believe it is Lewis Scene, per our sources, which is Brian in the chat. who says he will not be around for day 2, but if he is, you know what to expect. Well, Brian, we hope you're here, because otherwise we're not even going to know who the picks are. So our anonymous source may or may not be here on Tuesday or tomorrow night. But I gave Trent McDuffie to the Chiefs an A. What about you?
Fits a need big time. I had him as a top 20 pick, so the value was there. Let's say a B.
All right. and the pick is officially Lewis Seen to the Vikings. So he is going to close out the first round. So another safety comes off the board. That makes 3 safeties there. So
still got Jaquan Brisker is still there in the second round. Ferron McKinley still available in the second round, who I really like. Not that they're going to take him because the Eagles are allergic to safeties. But here we are.
Okay. So that puts us at the Packers at 22. Quay Walker, that's an F for me. That's a terrible pick.
Awful.
Tyler Smith to the Cowboys at 24. I'm going to give that like a C.
Wait, Kyer Elam.
Oh, I skipped him. Yep. Kyer Elam to the Bills. I'm going to give that a B+. I think that's a good
A. Fits a need. Great prospect. Great ceiling. Love that pick.
All right. And then Tyler Smith to the Cowboys, I'll give like a C. How about you?
I like Tyler Smith a lot. I was really high on him. It was maybe a little bit of a reach, but I think Cowboys fans are going to really like him. I'll give that an A.
All right. Ravens, Tyler Linderbaum. I'm going to give that like a C+. I really like the player. I don't think he's a good fit for their scheme, though. He's a position of need. I just don't think he's a good fit there.
Yeah, you would know more than I would. I don't watch Ravens football. For the prospect, though, he probably has top 15, top 20 talent.
Yeah. All right, Jermaine Johnson, that's an easy A to the Jets at 26. Top 10 player on our consensus big board.
An A. One of the biggest fallers in this draft. Jets did a pretty good job. I give them an A.
All right, Devin Lloyd to the Jaguars at 27. I'm also going to give that an A.
Man, they're forming a fun defense with Trey Walker and Devin Lloyd in a couple years. Devin Lloyd has Hall of Fame potential. Number 1 linebacker in this class. Terrific selection, A+.
Packers, Devontae Wyatt at 28. I'm going to give it like a B. I mean, the player is good. The off-field stuff's really concerning, and the fact they walked out of the first round without a wide receiver is unforgivable.
A C-. Devontae Wyatt is an okay prospect. He's fine, but I don't think that's what the Packers needed in this draft. So I'll go a C-.
All right, at 30, the Chiefs took George Karlaftis. That's an A+ for me. He was a top 8 player on our consensus board.
A+. I don't believe the haters. I think Karlaftis will be good in the NFL.
The Bengals at 31, safety Daxton Hill. I'm going to give that a B+. I would have rather seen him get a corner. He can play in the slot, but Hill was rated higher than any of the corners left, except for Booth, who I think at this point it's pretty clear there's some medical red flags causing teams to move him down boards.
I'll go A-. I think he's going to fly all around that Bengals defense. Good pick.
And then the Vikings, to close it out, take Lewis Seen. I'm also going to give that a B+.
Yeah, B+ sounds good. Terrific prospect, good value in the back of the first round. Vikings fans will like that guy a lot. Plays with a nastiness.
All right. So that's going to about wrap it up tonight. I'll just say here, off of our consensus big board, some of the top guys to watch for tomorrow. Andrew Booth, the corner out of Clemson, Nakobe Dean, linebacker out of Georgia, Malik Willis, David Ajabo, Jaquan Brisker would be our top 5 guys that are still available. And then if we flip over to our Eagle-specific big boards, I didn't mark these off as we went, but let's see. Andrew Booth, I should go off of our consensus here. Andrew Booth was number 7 on our Eagles big board consensus, and he's still available. And then you got to go all the way down to Malik Willis at 16 is still available. Jaquan Brisker right there at the end. So those are kind of some of the guys on our Eagles big board that we were looking at for the first round that are still available. So I hope you guys enjoyed our draft coverage. We will be back tomorrow night at 7 o'clock Eastern time. We'll cover the second and the third round. Be a little less structured as the picks roll in a little more, so you guys join in with your questions, your comments, and we look forward to hanging out with you guys.
Yeah, man, my voice is shot. I can't wait to rewatch the Sixers game tomorrow. Good night. Overall, it was a good night.
Absolutely. So from me, from Dibes, Mark, Rob, from the Painted Lions, we will catch you guys tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in.
See you guys.